Yeah, jazz hands, weave the tail back on. Hey everyone, nice to see you for another One Shot Wednesday. My name is Anthony, and I'll be your handler for Delta Green for tonight. This is my first time playing Delta Green, but it's everywhere. It's in the cultural lexicon. I've been hearing all about it for the last year, and I've been really excited to play it for once. And I'm running it too, right? Uh, it's such a wild game. So you can find me on Twitter at Praying the Plague up here. Oh, yeah, we got some cool shutter shades, and we'll start with a Savage Sparrow first for cast intros with the shutter spade,
Uh,
with the talking shutters.
yeah. Hi. I'm Savage Sparrow. Jen is my name. Tonight I will be playing Sierra Eversole, the anthropologist. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Anthropologist shades,
Oh
mandatory
yeah,
now.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
from anthropology.
ah, crap. All right. This is just gonna happen now. That's fine.
Yep. Up
I
next
got
we
it
have
here. It's cool.
up next we have at Scribbling Penny.
Wait, that's me. Hi everyone, I'm Scribbling Penny. Call me Scribbles, call me Sam. Tonight I will be playing Dr. Amanda Murphy, MD, the actual real doctor. And I'm super excited. I don't have cool shades. I just got my cardigan and
Just throw
I'm
it.
ready to roll. Yeah.
This is an
Don't need
educated group.
shades.
So everybody knows what they're doing. There's
Yeah.
no chance
Yeah.
of anything going wrong with so much knowledge.
Mhm.
Ian at Ian James.
Oh no, I'm at Ian V James on Twitter. V is for verses. Truly, it's not actually my name. I just it works, doesn't it? I'll be playing Sabrina tonight. She's a doctor. She will correct you about it. But won't play your little game if you think it's a challenge to just constantly refer to her by her first name. That's about it. I'm excited to play Delta Green because people in my circles won't stop talking about it, and now I can say I'm included in that conversation.
Right? That's how I feel too. I'm really excited to get to play this very spooky game. And you know what? It's the beginning of fall. It's coming up. What a better time to start playing some Delta Green. And last but definitely not least, we have and last but definitely not least, we have at Janie Potts playing Louisa.
Hi, I am at Fanny Potts, and I playing Louisa, who is also an anthropologist, but she's one that doesn't have full shade.
I mean, it's okay.
Boring.
We can't all have excellent eye gear.
And where can people
Yeah,
find you on Twitter?
Fall out. I wanted to get one, but you bought the last one before. The anthropologist.
Yeah,
Anthropologist
listen,
shades.
anthropology is clearly the party department. That's where we're at.
Yeah, come see
And,
us on Halloween.
Yeah. And Jenny, where would they be able to find you on Twitter? Or any of your socials?
At JD Pop 7570.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Please give her a follow. Great content. Feed always bumping. So without further ado, I'm more than happy to get into the very, very small town of Meadowbrook in Chesterfield County, Virginia. Now, Meadowbrook is a town of roughly, maybe 5,000 or less, and maybe fluctuating over the years. It's an old American mining town that's seen people come and go as highways crumble and are built around it, shifting the power sphere in the area. Now, all of you are new members of Delta Green. This is, your first real mission together, and you receive this dossier, kind of giving you some insight on what's happening, on your way to Meadowbrook. Essentially, Delta Green sees this place as, it's low threat. There's been very little, although there's been disappearances, disturbances, no one can really tie it down to any particular location. And they kind of ask you to take a look after the death of a very important other Delta Green agent. that kind of brings this place into light, into vision, whereas before it was a speck of nothingness. Um, some of you were chosen because you have, interest in the local uh, peoples and cultures, being from Virginia yourselves, or actually just studying it from an academic perspective. Um, for whatever reason, ACEL just thought that you were up for the task. Wow. Um, in fact, we have some real locals, it seems, but we'll get to there in a little bit. So it kind of starts us off. At the front of the town, you arrive at night um, after a long drive. With these highway road stops, always sleeping, tired, kind of no lights for quite a while. In the wild of rural Virginia. Um, Upon finally reaching here, otherwise sleepy, quiet town. You have a moment to talk amongst yourselves as you get out of the car and kind of survey this area that's under your jurisdiction, agents.
I feel like Dr. Amanda Murphy would get out of the car first. Yeah. She's definitely an older woman. Kind of has to hop down out. She's not the tallest, and it's just kind of going through some stretches, a little bit of calisthenics to get the blood flowing again. Stretching her arms above her head. She just sort of looks back into the car. Sitting's not good for your health.
I feel like Sierra would pop out next. Sierra is definitely, very recently finished her PhD as, I imagine, a professor at UMass by day. And she basically just like definitely has that look of that, like, early 30s millennial, elder millennial who is trying to be cool with the kids. Just like, yeah, I still got it, but obviously she doesn't have it because she's lived most of her life in academia. But, she likes to lie to herself that she does still have it. So yeah. So she comes out and, again, I imagine to contrast the others is very colorful and what she's wearing. And basically is just like, yeah, I mean, we didn't even have any decent libations for this trip. Honestly, you think they could have allocated something in the budget for fun.
Well, you have to get to the ABC store when they're open if you want libations.
Are you kidding me? Is that because we're on the East Coast and it's like a savage land where all y'all can't get decent liquor at a Target that's 24/7? Like, is that how this works? Am I
No,
in
it's
hell
state.
right now? Oh God.
No, that's
truly
another town.
No, that's in Michigan. I've been there. The only thing good about Hell, Michigan is the postcards.
Well, if you want some, you have to wait until they're open. I can get the hours for you.
Oh God.
The closest one
just
is
shoot
about
me right now.
30 minutes. Closest one is about 30 minutes that way. And you
Oh
gotta go
God,
through
30 minutes? I'm from Wisconsin. You think I can wait 30 minutes for beer?
Well, you're in Virginia. That's how it is here.
How are we placed in this car?
Ah.
I'd say Sabrina was sitting in the back, and is absolutely, if the assumption is we're all driving together, she's already got a migraine, and is normally actually very quiet, or rather has been more quiet since Sierra's arrived, in any capacity to me. Yeah, she certainly made room for you in the conversation.
So we have this like basic, essentially like gaggle of academics kind of pop out of the car, right? Wearing, I imagine their standard Delta Green gear,
Yep.
but at the same time, there could be something denoting the sort of uniform and your ties to higher education in this way. Regardless, you feel well prepared and in control as you arrive at the town. Quickly, you realize that the town does not agree with your assessment of what's happening, right? You start to take a little bit of a closer look uh, at the directive from ACEL, right? Operation Iago, right? You're basically ordered to investigate the death of an Agent Garrett under some suspicious circumstances that aren't really known to you yet. The focus that they've been able to acquire thus far is on this 1206 Spooner Avenue. Um, the town is very small. Within a couple of minutes, you can find a sign for Spooner Street. And you're able to track down the house if you wish. Um, but it is close by to you. At least you can tell by the Spooner Street there. There are some paranormal activity coming from this house, but again, they deem it a generally low threat. However, extreme caution is being advised in this situation due to the death of an Agent Garrett. They essentially need you to, and these are the instructions: determine the cause of death for Agent Garrett, see if the location is involved, and if it poses a threat to anybody else. And once you've really hammered both these in, and it's unclear as to how to do those things, contact them for what you think might be additional information. There are other Delta Green agents in the area, Virginia being not necessarily away from large metropolitan areas from the DC, Greater Baltimore area, all the way up to like Philly, New York. It's kind of a short drive, so able to get there. We have Emil Yarrow, a parapsychologist who is in a nearby town of Fulton, actually, ironically, at an educational institution. Um, so that's interesting. Elizabeth Tucker is an antique dealer who owns a store in the area. Essentially just selling old, sometimes dilapidated, but sometimes given to her furniture pieces from houses in the areas. Maybe that she might be able to offer you something in the way of a physical object in relation to the house. Um, but she herself is another Delta Green member also in the town. Lastly, there's a Dropbox, an old Delta Green lockbox, not updated in about 30 years. Um, it's about 2005 right now. This is a little bit about 42, 43 years after an incident in Cambodia outlawed Delta Green, um, and they decided not to provide any like official support anymore to the agents. Really hasn't been updated since that time, so you don't know what rations are really in there, or what you might find from such a militaristic hawk area. And it's located at this storage facility, Meadowbrook Store It. Um, Kind of like, I would say, about a mile east out towards, kind of in the opposite direction from Fulton to the west. That's essentially the directive that they give you. Um, you see that both houses to the side of 1206 um, are empty. Essentially, they're abandoned, and you're left in this small town to discuss what's going on.
All right, Dak, what's the play here? And she's looking at Amanda when she says it, because Amanda seems like she's more leaderly of all of us.
Strongly agree.
Little do they know. Amanda sort of has the missive in her hands and is just looking over it briefly. I mean, I say we go check out the house first.
Well, do we want to hit up that their box dealie? If I mean, again, not for nothing, but if a guy died, and we're expecting hostile contacts. Like, going in strapped seems like a way better play than just, hoping that hopes and dreams will win the day. Cause I don't know if this is your first op or nothing, but like, I usually find that the scary things tend to not respond to pleas for friendship.
I mean, that's how you want to run it, but that thing,
I mean, it's
everything
not,
in it
again,
is probably rotten.
I defer to your, expertise here. I'm just pointing out a concern.
Louisa, Sabrina, any ideas?
Putting your heads together.
Yeah.
So Sabrina's been trying to figure out what's going on. First of all, so a green box. What would she know that to mean? What's the significance? Like, what is? It says here on the deliverable green box locales, green box 711, Meadowbrook storage. Is a green box a certain, like a specific thing, or what is that?
Yeah, no. So it's a place about a mile to
Oh,
the
okay, it's just a
east.
place.
Yeah, and it's like a storage unit facility essentially.
Okay.
And so they have
Got
like
it.
this old like deposit box system, but it hasn't been updated in like essentially 43 years. So you have like really no idea like what's going to be in there or if it's even in the same place. It's it's just what it's almost like a time capsule. You got to
All
go
right.
if you'd like to see.
Well, green box is the number one variable. It'll change everything. How we approach the rest of this, I say we go there first.
It's only a mile drive. Guess we're hopping back in.
Plus, it
Watch
might
out for
be
cows.
neat to.
Watch out for cows.
Yeah.
Did they
It's
wander the
thing
street
around
at night normally?
Dig it out.
Aw,
Sometimes.
that reminds me of home.
It's okay if it's too hard. We can call some for help. Usually they all come running. The sheriff's, the fire department. They're like an emergency.
Ugh. It's not the cows
Right,
we
okay.
gotta be worried about, but whatever might be eating them.
Yeah.
People, it leads to various cardiovascular diseases, but should probably just hop in the car, head on. We could talk about cows. Maybe Louisa, you could be a lookout. Seems to be your type of thing for said cows.
Dr. Murphy,
Yeah, I'm from not too far from here, so I'm a little familiar with the area.
Dr. Murphy, on your way back to the car, you see the only street lights that in range that you can see flicker and turn on in a way that is almost in a sequence where one is turning on and then off, the next one on and off, in the direction of the house. It only happens for about 3 cycles, but you're the only one really seeing it as you were a little tentative originally and wanted to go see the house. It knows that you want to go to the house. Something's happening. The lights kind of flicker and draw you that way. You lose 1 sanity. No roll.
I feel like
Clearly, it has a pull.
Yeah. Amanda's about to put the keys into the lock to open the car. Her hand just sort of freezes and the keys drop to the pavement as she takes a couple steps down the road towards that house. sort of following that sequential order of the lights.
So you're making you're actually following towards it.
Yeah, she's just sort of walking towards it, leaving the keys behind is not really seeing
Doc?
anything.
What are you doing over there, buddy? What's going on?
Did you not see the lights?
That's a negative, cowboy.
Louisa, are you still in the car?
Yes, I'm trying to look at a map with my little tiny light that's too dim to really see anything.
Yeah, handler. Is it safe to say that I have my laptop? Because I tend to work on computers.
Yes. As
Okay.
you would be, an agent, right, with a PhD in computer science, I see no reason as to why you wouldn't have a personal work laptop with you. That you'd be pretty,
Oh wait, you
pretty
said
adept with as well, I imagine.
it's 2005.
It is
Is that what
05,
you
but
said?
laptops are a thing. It's bulky. It's big.
Yeah.
It probably weighs 10 pounds more than it should,
I have
but
a fat
it does
ThinkPad.
function.
A map. She's got
Can
a
I
Google.
make a roll for understanding the history of this area? Like if there's anything weird, like any local legends or things we should be aware of?
Please.
Okay, cool.
And so because it's my first time playing this game, I'll just take a quick second to explain. Delta Green is a percentile-based system, and so you would roll a D100, in which you would need to roll equal to or less than whatever your skill is in history, which you're electing to use. I think it's also sometimes handler can pick, but I generally prefer player suggestions. So if you have a thing that you know works, please.
So my question real fast for the roll 20 is that like I have 60 next to the stat, but 10% at the thing. So will it apply the 60 or like is that
Yeah.
am I rolling under 10?
So you should just roll and let's see what it is.
Okay.
I believe it'll just display a success
Any
or a fumble.
modifiers?
No. So yeah, with
Okay.
modifiers, I believe they extend to be a little bit rare. So at nighttime, it would be maybe a little more difficult to figure out what's going on.
Oh god.
Okay, well,
that was awful.
not a critical failure, but definitely not a success
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
You look around for old news pamphlets and
Yeah. I'm just like,
lost
man,
papers.
Virginia's terrible.
However, something does happen with a failure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're looking at this reflection of a like an aluminum newsstand.
Mhm.
Usually for maybe kind of thick parcels or like long TV guides, that kind of thing. It's empty, but as you're kind of parsing through some flakes of paper, you kind of stare into the aluminum reflection and you see yourself. For a moment, half your face in the reflection turns Vanta black as you observe a sort of reflection of yourself, clearly a dark one, in this otherwise unassuming newsstand. Roll 1d4 sanity for seeing a benign supernatural happening.
Okay. And I just click on sanity points? Or is there
Not sure if
another
there's
stat?
it should be for a D, and then it should allow you to pick your die. But if it doesn't, you can always just roll like a regular D4.
Okay, I'll just roll a regular D4 because I think it's giving me a percentile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh well.
What does that do?
Yeah, so you take 2 points of sanity damage.
Okay. Cool. So that puts me to 73.
So lower that sanity. And so essentially,
Yeah.
what's going on is that you're having a hard time really comprehending what's going on. Uh, you see this image of yourself, and you know things to be wrong in this town. Those that go searching for secrets, ancient lore, even in this town, even if that's only 100 years old, there are issues. Although it does seem to go back farther than you think. The specific newsstand, as you kind of come off it and see the front of it, it seems to have been actually like a public like, county newsstand,
Hmm.
usually for like town going ons and postings for local clubs. Definitely would have been useful information. So you're searching in the right place, but something's kind of preventing you from getting there.
So yeah, like she again just very slowly takes her sunglasses off because of course this doctor is one who wears sunglasses at night, um, and uh, and just sort of like stares intently into the reflection of that thing as her countenance pales, and she gives a call out of doctors. We need to not go alone nowhere, okay? There's some extra level weird fuckery going on, all right? So like nobody wanders off. I'm calling it here, okay? They have those protocols in place for a reason, and we should follow them cuz there's some freaky shit happening.
Amanda will kind of pause from where she's been walking, just stopping underneath a street light. So are we going to go in a group? Or are we going to that green
Listen.
box? But
If you really want to go into the spooky house, that's fine. We'll all go with you. But no one's going alone nowhere, okay? Like, I think that's a good idea. Like, all of us have surely seen enough horror movies to understand how this works. And I don't care if you're like new to this outfit or like you've been an old hand, like, you don't split the party. It's a bad idea.
dear, I am 54 years old. I'm pretty sure I've seen more than you have. Now,
And that's fine, but also you were wandering into the spooky house all by yourself. So maybe you have, but I'm just gonna say I don't entirely trust your survival instincts right now.
she'll like slowly start walking back to the group. Away from
Ooh.
spooky house.
A
Damn it.
development. A development.
Hmm.
So it seems like the course of action seems to be the green box. Is that correct?
I think so.
Okay. You get in your small little vehicle that you kind of came in on and do your academic clown car routine once more, in reverse. Hop back in.
The Academy mobile.
It is. It's instant research in a can.
Mhm.
You're able to kind
I
of
dropped
ferry it
one of
on
my-
over to. I'm sorry.
I dropped one of my Google Maps pages, so the directions right now.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we know
actually,
where
so
we're
that
going. So
that's super interesting you mentioned that. So attempts to kind of Google the facility, whether that be on the laptop, or with another object that you might be carrying with you. Essentially, they
I
kind of
printed them
return
out.
almost nothing. Oh yeah. Well, you printed them out. That's fine. The problem is that they're just super inaccurate, kind of incorrect. It's 2005, so the tech isn't really there to kind of watch after like rural, small towns like these with dirt roads that aren't really institutionalized anywhere.
It's
Um,
MapQuest as well. So
yeah,
Ah,
it's
yes.
shoddy.
that.
Yeah, it's shoddy MapQuest directions. That definitely,
Yeah,
in a
their
place
apps
like this,
are
won't
terrible.
get you much. Won't get you pretty
Yeah,
far.
this
But
is
at least to the store, you get there. and you're able to kind of arrive without too much of an issue actually, and you're kind of surprised for something being so for such a what you would expect an otherwise maybe worse happening. However, upon arriving there, it is a 24-hour storage unit place with a small circular office. Almost looks like a little trailer, but like a little circle with a kind of a communications tower in the middle, and a large door able for like carts and moving trucks to kind of bring in almost like a freight entrance. You do see one lone figure um, in the lit area, uh, just kind of flipping through papers through the kind of foggy glass before you hop out.
Has there not been like other cars driving on the road? What time of day is it?
It's
Or
maybe
night?
8:30, and there is zero cars. You have not seen a single one.
Hmm.
They're all parked, and all the lights are off in every one of the houses, except for
It's a
these like 24-hour places.
it's a bit weird, yeah.
It is.
I mean, like usually, culturally at least, I have found that people tend to be awake at 8:30 at night, or at least there is a sizable percentage of people who are in some form or another out and about and active, even in a town this size.
I mean,
Oh, there are.
Louisa, you said you were from
Uh,
around here, right?
Yeah.
Is this normal?
I mean, everything is closed.
Everything is closed at 8:30.
No, it closes
It is a
5. Everything closes at 5.
absolutely everything closes at
Except for
5.
the gas station.
The
And
thing of note
there's
here is the
but also
people.
people
Yeah,
in
there's no
their
people.
houses. Like people just stay completely silent in their homes without lights on or any sign of activity. Like that is a thing that happens in this small town. You are telling me that is the cultural norm for the small towns of Virginia.
Well, I don't know because I don't leave at night. I go
But
home
but
and,
let us use
and
you
I
as
go to
an example. You know, when you leave your establishment at 5, because apparently everything closes at 5, you go directly home. You do not do anything else, and you turn all the lights off in your house and go directly to sleep at 5.
Why would I do anything else? I just study and I don't go anywhere. I have a lot of books.
So you study with the lights off, like you read books in the
No, I go to
darkness.
bed.
Is
I go to bed early.
I'm
I read and go to bed early. I don't have a life.
Yes, but I assume you read your books with lights on so your eyes can see them. Unless you have some
As
sort of supernatural abilities. Dr. Murphy, are humans able to read in the darkness?
uh, Sierra, you feel like you're really kind of honing in on this particular point of and you feel like maybe the earlier moment about this reflection and the
Yeah,
interplay of light and dark has made you a little more wary. You're
yeah,
kind of getting into it with essentially a colleague that you had no prior issue with. Could you roll a
yeah.
sanity check for me for
Awesome, yes.
1d4? Yep, and
Okay.
let's see what happens after that sanity check.
Alright, alright. This is gonna be great. So I lose 4?
So just so essentially this time roll like a
Uh-huh.
percentile die, yeah, for
Oh,
sanity.
okay,
Before it was like for
okay,
sure, and then now it's like let's see if this one actually affects you.
okay.
See, a success,
Oh,
and so
okay,
you take
cool.
the Yep. And so you take the lower amount here. So you'll just take one
Hmm.
point, off your sanity here, as you sort of see yourself not necessarily obsessing, but focusing on something, and you kind of
Yeah,
see that the tendencies of the town make you
yeah,
seem to focus on
yeah.
one thing at a
Just
time.
like
Tunnel vision. Yeah.
I don't understand. Like why are people not being people with lights on? That doesn't make any sense. We are humans. We evolved to worship fire. That is how we work. Like why are there no lights?
You
Because it's
essentially
nighttime.
you continue to you know sorry, I just want to make sure, was this all in the car or is this out of the car?
I have no idea.
uh yeah, I imagine in the car.
In the car, okay,
Like, are
all right,
we?
okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah, yeah,
we're
okay.
still driving, or are we not driving? Have
No,
we
so
stopped?
no, so you parked. I
Yeah.
mean, it's very close. It's about a mile
Okay.
away. So you've parked at
Yeah.
the at this store. It, but you're staying in
Hmm.
the car. You want to discuss this amongst your colleagues about
Yeah.
how messed up this seems to you. The issue that you're having is that you see lights go on for a second as um, on the way, kind of just flicker. You see like blinds shutter, and change quickly. You see bushes ruffle. Essentially, there is movement when you start to think about it, but it's definitely suppressed. There is a restriction that seems to be self-imposed.
Hmm.
Um, so this green box, is it basically the storage unit, um, 711, and we drive up to it, or do we need to talk to like a gatekeeper?
So there's like the gatekeeper here would be the figure at the office. Essentially, because it's so old, you're not really sure how to get into it. You just have that number. It's storage. It's box 711 essentially. And you need to see uh, how to get in there. The employee
Yeah.
probably would be able to assist you, as seeming as they work there, but there's no like guardhouse. There's no gate.
Cool. So as Sierra is like hyper focused on the item of people being in their homes at 5 p.m., um, she would sort of look over at Sabrina. Do we leave them and go in? Or do we all try to go in together?
Let's leave them. Sabrina doesn't
Right.
talk much. You've noticed, but she's not stopped looking at, yeah, the source material. It doesn't add up to her, all of the items. Um, Agent Garrett shouldn't be dead by all accounts. Was the last thing you heard from her right before you left, and since then you've not heard her really say anything. Um, she's just equally appalled and offended by the idea that he could be dead um, to these like unknown circumstances, and doesn't really trust Sierra or Louisa much for finding answers.
Right.
So there
Yep.
is definitely some distrust uh, amongst your agents. This is your first time, and you start to see this is deeper. The rabbit hole goes deeper than you initially thought. You're having trouble kind of empathizing with your fellow agents in a way that you kind of need to when you're working these kind of black ops missions. Let's say that you do take 1 point of sanity, essentially for yeah, not a role. It's just one, essentially feeling helpless in this tirade of not being able to connect with other humans, kind of participating in that humanization. That's really important. Oh, and the way
Okay.
that that works is a fun part. Is quote unquote fun. It is fun. Part of Delta Green is essentially that you can adapt to trauma, and in doing so, if you kind of gain 3 strikes without losing your composure, your sanity past a point where it would cause an acute episode of sorts. Essentially, you can with those 3 strikes, you're able to uh, change yourself, change your personality to the point where you are able, well adapted to handle that particular thing. So if it's violence, you lose kind of constitution. If it's this socializing, you lose kind of charisma. And so it's interesting to see how that works out. So just kind of keep a note of what
Mm.
caused the sanity loss. In this case, it would be helplessness. So it's violence, helplessness, and the supernatural. And so this would count as a track on the helplessness.
Uh, what should I have been adding to?
Yeah. So essentially, this whole time with you earlier, I would say that would have been
Yeah.
violence for both
Okay.
times. So that's 2 violence ticks off,
Okay.
and so one more you'll become adapted to violence, and that'll
Okay.
make you more closed off to your bonds and your fellow agents. But it'll
Okay.
help you avoid being scared when the stuff finally hits the fan.
Okay.
Hmm. All
Should
right.
I
So you
do
kind of walk
anything?
in. Sorry. No, please.
Should I do anything for Louisa, like totally drinking the Kool-Aid in this town?
No, I
Since
feel like
it's normal.
you're just giving an inaccurate depiction of what kind of town it is, or what you expect of the place, and you feel like it's there. The spirit of the town is still alive. There are still people, living their lives and enjoying themselves. But there's at the same time you can feel something's wrong, right? And you're just starting to get a fragment of it from these different case segments. Eventually, you walk in, right? And was there a decision on whether it would be all 4, or would it just be just 2?
Sabrina wanted to go just the 2. For some reason,
Just
she
2.
only trusts Amanda, or Dr. Murphy, rather.
Okay.
And,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. So, Sabrina takes charge and walks out of the car, kind of losing their composure a little bit after waiting for so long.
Can Louisa
You're able
follow?
to
Yeah.
what?
Sorry. I said, can Louisa
So yeah,
follow when she sees Sabrina drinking?
yeah, you of course you can follow. Yeah, you don't have to listen to you don't have to listen
Okay,
to
she's going to
Sabrina's
follow and drop the rest of the pages of directions as she follows, probably trampling on them.
Gotcha. So essentially with the that would definitely be a violence like essentially like a small violent sanity check where you're kind of immediately disregarding somebody's wishes regarding this, and you're trampling, essentially using the language trampling over these ideas. So you can definitely mark 1 sanity off, as well as um, one one of this track off as well, and that would be the violence track.
Mm.
So
So I assume at
mhm.
this point, since Sierra is alone in the car, it would not be remiss to be like, all right, well, fine, like get out of there.
Yeah, there's no sense in being the last one, but because
Yeah.
you're just kind of following along, you don't really
Hmm.
gain any issues associated. You're able to walk in
Cool.
and feel like it's warranted. Um, in
Yeah.
fact, you probably feel like it'd be worse for you being alone outside in this
Oh
potentially
yeah,
dangerous town.
definitely,
Yeah, so
definitely. Like
you're
she
you're
saw her
following your
face
instincts
melting, so yeah.
for sure. Upon arriving, you see a disheveled, bald 9 o'clock shave, kind of man, little chubby. He's about maybe 5'5", 5'4", a little on the shorter side, reading and having a drinking just straight up from a large pot of coffee. This person does not look like they sleep. They look exhausted. large, baggy eyes, essentially just almost like droning when you walk in. You know, like they're wearing earphones, but they're not. They're not quite there. It would take all four of you approaching the desk right in front of him in order for him to kind of see you. Still flipping through.
Is there a bell on the desk?
There is.
Mac.
What? Please, it's so late here. You know, I'm the only one in here. You don't have to ring the bell. He's like off.
Apologies. I'm impulsive at times.
Yeah. Well, me too.
We're here. For a storage unit.
Well, first of all, you know, my name is Miglia. I'm a person too. You know, I'm not just. Am I a storage unit? Am I what you seek? Of course not. You still didn't need to be nice to me. And he's giving you like the utmost sass.
Uh, so
Very cranky.
hang on. Do I have like a face skill on here? Let me see. Persuade. Can I try to save Sabrina from being the face person here?
Please do.
Of course.
Please do.
Okay. All right. We'll try this. Oh God.
Yeah. So Sierra tries to kind of slide in.
Yeah.
Interrupt. What do you say?
She's just like, yeah, listen, you know, Dr. Schiffer is super great. She's one of them big city folk who forgot about how manners work. So, you know, we just want to get to our unit and we'll be right quick and out of your hair. So you don't have to talk to us again. We're real sorry. We know it's late for this town.
Of course, you know, he's not happy about it, and he's like, listen, I know you guys, you're narcs, right? I always get some of you up in my stuff, right, every couple years looking for one of those dead people's things. Now listen, I already told you, I gave you everything that I had for all of those people, all 18 of them. Now I don't have anything else, right? Especially nothing for you trench coats. And he's like
Hey
fighting.
there, buddy. Like, listen, does this look like I'm wearing a trench coat? Like, that's like, she gestures to like whatever ridiculously colorful outfit she's wearing. If I wanted to be a suit, like, I would have picked a better one, no? um, like, listen, we're on your side here, friend. We just, you know, like, 18 people?
Yeah, of course. You know, that's what I assume you're here for, like everybody else. 1206 Spooner. You do know that since the 50s, 18 people there have died. Usually couples, sometimes murders, sometimes suicide, sometimes they just leave. Very rarely, but you know, very few of them are still alive, but you can probably find some of them. I don't know. I don't know. They just I don't know. I don't have any information. I just think that you guys are always up in everybody's things.
Sam, you're muted?
So essentially, you reiterate that number, Sabrina, 711. The employee starts to hear it. Miglia says, "Oh, yeah, that was my grandmother's box. It's I don't remember that belonging to my grandmother. I don't remember belonging to anybody here. She told me very clearly about, I don't want to say 20 years ago, hey, you go on down to the warehouse, make sure that that box is sealed up. I want it. So, hey, we took it for her. You know, they left it for like 20 years. You know, whatever. It's mine now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, my mic issues.
No, you're good.
You say box 711 is yours now?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. My grandmother Adele. Oh, God bless her soul. I haven't seen her in such a long time. You know. Anyway, she told me keep the box.
Did she know someone named Viola over on
Mm,
688?
nah, I don't really recall that kind of name. I'm just,
Okay.
yeah, no, I just sit here, but the box is mine. Sorry. You guys can
I was wondering
just
because my
count it out.
grandma lived there, over on 688 on that little farm.
Oh, oh, yeah, I remember down there. I mean, I haven't been out there in forever. We tend not to leave, especially not at this time of night.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know why you guys you don't see how empty it is, right? Everybody's sleeping. Good reason.
I know. It's just a thing we have to do. I tried telling them.
So if you
Dear,
want to, you can roll a sort of persuasion check as well, or like a history, an anthropology, whatever you feel would be like relevant here
Um,
to kind of draw upon like your local knowledge of the town and kind of help to really push that through for him.
I have like a higher one in history, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
try
exactly.
that.
Whatever you think might be relevant.
It's like a 60 in history.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. And how do I do this again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. If you can't click on the character sheet button of it, you can also just roll a regular D100,
Okay.
and then just we can just see what you get.
93.
Ooh, 93. So that is
Oh
you're
Ooh.
supposed to
no.
roll, yeah, equal to or under. So 93 is essentially one of the worst rolls you can get, unfortunately.
Oh wow.
And you remember like actually he kind of corrects himself a little bit. Uh, I think actually you're confused. That area's been built and rebuilt so many times. Especially over there where everybody wanted to move to after over the air here got a little stale. So sorry, but I don't really know you on the other side. Uh, how I just want to stay here. In my town. My grandmother's been good to me. Spooner's been good to me, and he kind of lets that out that he has a personal connection to this house.
I think at this point, Dr. Murphy will sort of come up to the desk and lean forward. That box, I'm sorry to say, and again, she's this shorter, sort of older woman. I don't think that box was your grandma's to give, dear. Now,
Yeah, says who? And he starts to get like you feel like any more confrontation will result in a not necessarily violence, but definitely a stress that would result in a loss of, or at least a check of your sanity.
well, dear, you see, you said you had relations on Spooner Street?
Yeah, my grandmother Adele, she lived there 50 years. She brought me and all my family over.
Did you ever see anything that was happening in 1206?
Oh, plenty. I mean, that's where them 18 people died. Yeah, but that only happened after my grandma left. You know, she took care of the place. She knew what she was doing.
So that happened after
These
your
deaths.
grandma left.
Oh, yeah, for sure. People don't know what they're doing.
And
Are
do
they
you
spread
think
out?
that maybe... Oh,
I'm sorry, I don't know when, when they were. I mean, look, you look at me. How old do you think I am? And I mean, essentially, from your best guess, it's not really too difficult. It doesn't require a roll. You don't need, the effort is not so large that you need a roll. But he looks roughly 43. He's like, I'm 82. Wouldn't you know it? I was born in the basically late 20s. I look great.
Oh,
My grandma, she knew what she was doing. I mean, just look at me. I turned out all
is
right.
that so? How old do I look
Yes,
then?
He'll take a good look at you, and he's like, I don't know, 30.
So Sierra just
Sorry.
like interrupts like
Mhm.
that there is a trap question. That is a trap. You don't have to answer that.
Oh,
I'm
but I
gonna look
did,
back at Sierra for a fleeting moment of trust and sort of just trying to, without speaking, communicate that I have spawned an idea that I think is here in the investigation. Like, there's more an expression of irritation on my face, as it just seems that I've realized something that means we shouldn't even be paying any mind to this man. Sort of just that, whatever, yeah, you take the conversation. I'm leaving.
Louisa's going to ask if he sells Avon. Is that why he looks so young?
I never reveal my secrets, but it really just has to do with my wonderful grandmother. I miss her so much.
She sell
I
it?
miss her so much.
Does she sell it?
She's actually, that she sold a lot of things. I could probably direct you towards one of her old potion chests, she called it. She probably still has one somewhere in the house. Um, but yeah, I mean, I can show you on over to the house later. That's easy.
Oh yeah, that would
The
be great.
yeah.
so Dr. Murphy is
hmm
visibly growing like frustrated that they won't let her into this box because she didn't even want to go to the box in the first place. Um, Delta Green, do they have a badge?
They do have a badge. They are
Uh,
full on agents, and they're able
yeah,
to flex them if things go south.
yeah. So she will pull out her badge, she will slam it on the counter, and then she will pull out her physician's license, put that on the counter, and then her like Navy like serving badge on the counter as well, just like emptying her wallet. And she just looks this kid, this 80-year-old man, but she thinks of him as a kid in the eye. If you want to help this town, you will let us into that box.
He immediately drops his guard. He's like, "Oh, okay, all right. Listen, I called you narcs, but I didn't know you were actually feds. All right, like I don't want any trouble." And he just starts kind of breaking down a little bit, losing his composure. Clearly, this machismo is fading away as he starts to point out the direction for box 711. Um, when you go to pick up your physician's license, the laminate reflects in the fluorescent lighting of these light tubes in this old, basically tile roof. As you, for a moment, you see your face on the license perfectly all right, and as the reflection of the high beam passes through it, your face has kind of been removed from the license. Um, kind of look a little bit deeper into it, like what the hell, and kind of scratch it off, see if it's some dirt or something. And the more you scratch, reveals a sort of this blackness underneath, this absence of color, and you feel like the light that was reflecting off in those areas don't reflect off anymore. Please roll sanity check for witnessing another benign supernatural occurrence. And this would be on that track. What? It doesn't have one, but I wish it did.
Oops. Uno.
Okay. So.
And so this one.
Oh, so just a regular sanity percentile die. I saw one. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Just kidding. My sanity. Don't know.
All right, so that's pretty solid. It is indeed a critical. You're able to resist. For after a while, you kind of just use your thumb. You have a moment of inner calm. You close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. You're able to kind of really imagine it as just grime, and it actually materializes on the card as grime, this void substance. You use the thumb, kind of the big part of your thumb to just kind of wipe it off. Kind of spray the laminate around, put it back in your wallet, and kind of hop back along. No sanity, a 0 sanity taken here for the crit. So,
Excellent.
amazing job there. He takes you over to the box, Miglia, and he this is what you see. You see a large assortment of mundane items, as well as straight up what you know are like illegal items, right? And so we can go through it. So we have some antique tables that Liz might be interested in, Liz Tucker. However, it is itself clearly not related to the house. Sofa, some twin mattresses, biohazard containers. It's a weird assortment of like textiles and industrial metal and burning equipment, along with some shotgun ammunition. Really have no through line for why these particular objects seem useful or important here. However, it is a little bit better with the illegal items. You do find old post Vietnam War shotguns in pretty great condition too. Still there, not just disarmed, but easily fixable and back in working condition. Along with a variety of like and everybody is kind of taking a look at what's coming out of this box, right? Everybody's kind of sharing the items. We do see in the note the special agent was referred to as Agent Garrett. But you quickly start to find notes from what seems to be an agent who identifies themselves as an agent of Delta Green, obsessed or at least talking fervently about the house, and referring to themselves as Donnelly. And kind of putting two and two together, you realize that the code name for Garrett was this Donnelly, right? In addition to the notes from his investigation, you find some old pictures, as well as an actual coffin. You find the coffin of a person, dirty and wooden, with several photos on the opposite side of the room.
With the coffin, is it, like, how old is it, basically? Because I assume it's not a contemporary styling.
Yeah, it does look pretty old. You say that it's
Okay.
I'd say that it's at least reaching the 90 to 100 year like mark.
Okay. I would like to roll some anthropology, please.
Please do.
Cool. Eh. No modifiers, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Why you do
Yeah.
that, Louisa's? Oh, never mind. Not just for
No,
me.
that was if you have something in mind, yeah, keep it on tap. Maybe it might be needed in just a bit. No, so that's definitely a success on the anthropology front. You're able to kind of really look at the photographs, as well as the original uh, other notes that are kind of left on, and
Yeah.
there's this name that's mentioned right over and over again, and this
Mhm.
person seems to be known as Yamila Isari.
Mhm.
You kind of read on to see that Yamila was actually emigrated here to Meadowbrook in Chesterfield County, kind of out in the middle of
Mhm.
nowhere, Virginia, from a life of relative lavish luxury in the United Arab Emirates. Kind of why, right? And seeing how
Hmm.
this person, Donnelly, was kind of cataloging her journey and how she visited, for a small rural road trip one day with an American friend, and within a year, kind of dropped everything to come back and kind of take
Mhm.
residence in the property. She Donnelly goes on to write about how Yamila was the last death in the house, like last civilian death in the house of the last person who actually owned the property, um, who was found on her back, face up, with
Mhm.
her throat slit, and her left arm kind of up to her chest by her shoulder, near the stab wound, near the slash. Uh,
Can
you
I
know,
tell anything from,
mhm,
the coffin and the way that she's buried? Like, was care put into the ritual here again? Because like anthropologist, is there any sort of cult
mhm,
like way that she
mhm.
was buried, or is this she was tossed into a back alley ditch? Like what level of fear factor are we at here?
Yeah, yeah. So this is an interesting part. So you want to open the coffin?
I just imagine
It
right
is
now, at
currently
least, that
closed.
she's like examining like the outside of it for any sort of markings, or and again testing the age of it and all of
Hmm,
that.
hmm.
Like she basically, like, I
The
just imagine that, like, she sort of looks around and is like, okay, this is my happy face and happy place, and like zeroes in on, like, I'm gonna poke it and do some science.
the age of the coffin looks to be, you can
Hmm.
tell, roughly maybe 35 years.
Hmm.
It's really not been terribly long. This is a
Okay.
70s style coffin, and you do
Okay.
actually see a plaque an inscription from a
Hmm.
person who was buried here by the name of Anton Touré. So
Okay.
Anton uh, is the name that's labeled on this coffin, meaning different than Yamila, right? And
Oh.
if it's about 30 years ago, you can kind
Yeah.
of bet that this person was at least involved with the house and died
Huh.
roughly in the 70s. And then
Yeah.
Agent Donnelly mentioning Yamila in his notes
Yeah.
about the most recent kind of going-ons. He goes on to say that he's for sure about the paranormal activity of it, and says that the coffin, uh, was his last essentially lead that he was searching.
Hmm.
And that's kind of where it ends. Is that he's talking about Anton and getting the coffin, and what about the Ture family and the still living members, um, as a possible lead for
Um, Sierra gives all of that information to everybody, like literally
him.
just like saying
Hmm.
it out loud, like how morticians like say their notes out loud as she's just like poking and examining and putting little chips of stuff into little bags.
I will say that being so gleeful about
Hmm.
something that you've stumbled upon that seems to be kind of racking you a little bit, or it should be, right? You seem to be growing more and more adapted to a
Hmm.
sort of like, again, a loss of empathy. We'll say that this is a helplessness track
Okay.
loss, and
Uh,
uh, if it goes through, but let's just roll percentile sanity if it to see if it
Okay.
does in the first place.
Okay. Oh.
Yep. So roll a
Okay.
1d4 for me.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. We're just
All right.
losing them like.
Yep.
This
No,
is
so
gonna
that's 2
be
sanity
great.
off. Yep, that's 2 sanity off, and again, it would be
That
going
sanity
off
was
that
getting
selfless track.
between me and my
Um,
fans.
hey everyone, hey Lantern, hey Nora, thanks for the raid, everybody. Welcome to Delta Green. We are currently at a storage unit facility right now, finding some spooky safety deposit boxes. So,
Indeed we are.
you definitely take some sanity loss on that, but
Mhm.
it seems like nobody. Yeah, you deserve it. It seems like nobody is really so
Yeah.
phased. Nobody's had an acute episode of sanity loss or really an acute a breakdown of sorts. Um, the agents seem to be doing
That's
well
because
together.
that's because this is all completely normal.
It's just standard fare for Virginia
Yeah,
ruraldom.
look at that. It's all normal. This is nothing strange at all.
Yeah, what happens
Yeah,
when nobody's watching? It can be scary.
completely normal
That's
to have a
essentially it.
coffin.
Mhm.
Yeah, to have a
It's fine.
coffin.
Yeah. So I
Um,
don't know.
Storage unit.
One last, I
Seer.
will say, sorry,
Oh, go.
I will read one. I will just read one quote.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Talked to it tonight. It knew my name. It knows I'm watching it. Called A today. Still no movement. Open house next week. Buy it. Burn it. So
is
definitely
this in
kind of
Donnelly's
acknowledging the.
handwriting?
This is Donnelly's handwriting, but it seems to almost be like his form, his structure seems to be deteriorating after some time. He can't really seem to
Mhm.
keep it together in long form sentences and descriptions like he was in earlier entries. Um, there's a clear loss of something, but he seems more fervent, more every second he can. He's mentioning the house, the house, the house, the house.
Uh, I'm gonna say after giving her notes, Sierra's gonna start to look like she will be opening the coffin. If anybody has objections as PCs, that is what is happening. Um, so
Maybe you read what it said, and you see it.
I mean, this is why we were brought along, though, right? I mean, again, we
Right.
got the anthropology experience. If there's a buddy here, like, obviously
I'd,
there's something spooky going on.
I'd rather look for some book because this is like a horror movie thing, like you said earlier.
I mean, yeah, but
I,
again, like, this is literally our jobs.
okay, I'd look for some
And
book.
we're all together. We're all together. So,
Louisa's gonna like edge towards the back as far as she can get.
You
So we're
find,
opening a coffin.
yeah. Oh, so we're opening the
yeah.
coffin. Yeah, is that what
Hmm.
we're doing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, totally.
Can, wait, can Amanda pick up one of the shotguns?
Of course. Please do. There is ammunition to load it with as well.
Amanda will do so, and we'll go stand by Louisa.
Jeez.
I imagine Sierra's just like, what?
She's locked and loaded with the gun pointed at the coffin.
Sabrina's gonna tabulate the information into an actual table to account for cause of death, the time, like when they died, who they were, to try to figure out if this is smoke and mirrors. Something's fishy. Sabrina feels pretty disenchanted by the whole thing.
Something
Amazing.
fishy in a Delta Green game?
So yeah, so it seems like you're kind of disregarding the advice, and you seem unfazed by it. You kind of go to crack it open, and what skill or stat do you think would be appropriate here to kind of resist?
I mean, again, I would argue anthropology, if only because like she is literally trained in like studying these sorts of like
Yeah.
cultural artifacts and like the way that people died and were buried and all of that jazz. So like I feel
Let's
like,
let's
like
It's
yeah.
still okay. Yeah, let's do that anthro.
All right, here we go. Uh-oh. Oh.
Okay, so
My skills have
it's
failed
not
me.
only it's not only a failure, but it is a fumble as well, right? It seems to have been a worse outcome than you thought. You kind of
Okay.
open it very slowly, expecting to study
Yeah.
it carefully and make sure that you don't kind of disturb it. This turns out to be very bad. The moment that light reflects onto the reflection of a photograph, uh, laminated much in the same way like the license that Dr. Murphy had, um, for the first time in however long however many years it's been in this coffin. Something starts to happen, and again, it exudes this void out towards you. Except now it's not just something you see; it's something you can smell, and like particulates or this grime is almost an aerosol form entering your lungs, kind of staining them with ash, or so you feel uh, as you breathe it in. You can't stop though. It's kind of like fate. It's kind of really pushing you in. This would be a more damaging supernatural,
Okay.
affliction vision that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Let's do another sanity check, and if you failed, it would be a 1d6.
Oh my. Okay. No pressure.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Yeah, it's a success, and you take the lower amount.
Okay.
Of that, we'll say like about a third, so you take two off, right?
2.
Um,
Okay.
keep an eye out if it
Just
gets
moving.
close to your breaking point, because when it gets to
Okay.
your breaking point, you'll have
What
another
is
an episode that you'll
the
have to deal with.
breaking point?
It should get the stat right next to your sanity, and it
Should be
should be
right underneath, yeah.
roughly
Oh, I see it.
yeah
I
right
see it.
underneath.
It's okay.
Hmm.
All right. All right. Not quite there yet.
Yeah, not quite there yet. Good. Okay,
Yep.
that's essentially it. You find you see this image,
Mhm.
kind of a young boy, seemingly. I mean, he looks young, but he doesn't really. He has like the wrinkles. He has like the crow's feet. It's not really what you deem as young, and he looks pretty good. This you can imagine, if the photo was a little bit maybe grainier and a little torn, is an image of Anton, and what was going on. On the back, it says, "To my wife Elise, I know we lost her. That's what we get for coming here. But now, with her loss, I'll never see you again either." And it seems to be this very sad, like eulogy to his wife over another loved one lost, seemingly.
Um. So real fast. Are there any weird markings on either the interior of the coffin or the body that would indicate, some sort of ritualistic burial?
That's the thing, right? No,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
doesn't. It seems like a pretty normal like corpse and coffin, apart from that experience that you had opening it, right? And it
Yeah.
seems like
Okay.
it didn't want to be disturbed, but there's nothing necessarily
Oh.
strange about it.
Okay. So yeah, so basically, when like the cloud hits Sierra, I imagine she's just like, coughing and sneezing and just kind of like uh and then sort of looks over at the body and has like that squint of a frown of, well, that's a bit peculiar.
This is all you end up finding at the box.
Mhm.
And now you're able to kind of chase some of your leads, right? With a quick overview, we have information on the house itself, and a growing desire it seems to go to the property. We have
Mhm.
additional records on some of the names that we've found. If we want to go looking for records of those people, um,
Mhm.
there's or even uh, whether that be the dead records on previous people, if it's 100 years old, or maybe even finding survivors, like Miglia was telling you. What do we seem interested in?
Is Miglia still in the front office?
Yeah, he's still there, still scared, but kind of keeping to himself, but still, he hasn't run away.
Good. So yeah, Dr. Murphy will bring the shotgun with her, as well as some of the spare ammo. And she's gonna head back over to the office. Seems like a safe route.
Sierra's gonna grab the camera and the lens and the film and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also probably the more relevant photographs we found, just in case. So, we have those for evidence. And she'd hand the journal over to Sabrina to hang on to and log all those notes and stuff.
Sabrina wants to talk to Dr. Murphy. She's finished um, jotting down cursory information and doesn't seem amused by what's going on.
But yeah, Dr. Murphy has walked out, and I think she's gonna grab Louisa on her way and just like pull her towards the office.
Louise, I didn't pay my respects.
The dead don't hear your respects. You don't need to say anything to them.
How do you know they don't hear you?
Because the auditory processes are no longer working.
Are you certain?
Yeah, I've dissected multiple brains and neural pathways. I'm pretty certain that a dead body cannot hear you.
Well, okay. You
She's
say
like very
so.
scientific about it.
It just can't happen. It's impossible. There's no way.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I still.
Louisa knows better though.
Louisa's like, we have to give our respect, and she's going to apologize. I'm sorry you dragged away to work.
But Dr. Murphy wants to ask Amygdala if he has a phone book, the Yellow Pages, to see if they could find the Terry family name or Yasari, any sort of those family names that they had in the notes. Get an address.
Mm-hmm. He kind of essentially he goes up to you to make sure, or looks up at you rather from behind the desk, still taken aback by what's been going on, with the way you barged in here and kind of disturbed his peace. But he's given enough. He says, I don't. First of all, we don't have any phone books here because nobody writes their book, their name and number in a book. Nobody wants to know that here. But at the same time, I'm not going to help you anymore. You came in here, you threw your weight around. I have no obligation to do anything else. You already took my grandmother's lockbox. She wanted, all that stuff. That was hers. And now, who's going to have to pay for it? Me. The next time I see her.
Dr. Murphy is holding a shotgun as she looks
What
at
is
him.
the talk for?
Oh my God. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So
Can we talk
you're
to
definitely going
grandmother?
to.
I also want to.
Yeah. Yeah. We did. Okay. So you hold up the shotgun at him, and you definitely
Well, and she
threaten
doesn't
him. He's
point
like,
it at him.
oh.
But she
Okay.
Yeah.
as the
What's the
she like kind of
implication?
shifts it around so that he can see that she has this gun in her hands.
I feel
And just
like
sort of-
like Sierra would very carefully like like the shotgun gets raised and Sierra just puts a hand to put it back down. Just like that very subtle like we don't do that here.
what we do in Washington. Okay.
To civilians.
Dear.
He's like, I don't. Okay. So roll like I don't know. Let's roll some sort of. It still would count as a sort of intimidation aspect of sorts. Um, what is a strong, powerful skill that you might feel comfortable rolling for this?
Bureaucracy. I don't know.
Bureaucracy. Yeah, the weight.
With a
Sure,
gun?
no, you're throwing the weight of your badge
With
around,
a
right?
gun?
Like with the badge comes heavy responsibility, and sometimes that means lead weighing it down, right? So
Right?
that's fine. So let's see how that
Or I
bureaucracy
mean I
roll
could
goes.
just roll power.
What bureaucracy are you guys?
Yeah, well, Delta Green is in a whole nother league of its own. Yeah, no, I'm okay with bureaucracy that way. A power roll is fine too.
I mean this is how you handle bureaucracy, right?
To be imposing.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. No modifier. Roll, damn you. Alright. Barely a success.
Barely, but it is. And he understands. He's like, all right, listen, fine. But when I lose my head, it's on you. And you know what? My grandmother's, she knows things. There's some people, they wanted to live long. They want to live long like me, right? And you know what happens when they get their wish and they don't really know what they're getting into. When that's over, they get stuck in the mirrors, stuck in the reflections. And you know what? I'm gonna put you there too. I'm gonna give this to you, and I'm gonna put you there as well. He gets very like violent. And you're getting violent back. Um, roll another. He gives you information.
Yeah.
1204 Spooner Avenue is a
That correlates.
close cross section property nearby.
That's a little close to 1206.
Yep, to the property. Yeah, where he says that that the family of where the Ture family lived, and basically this is an image of Anton right here.
Is it possible to ask him more about like the mirror thing, or is he too like in this, macho stare down to like pay attention, to be interrupted by like, hey.
He's essentially being pushed to his breaking point.
Okay.
You feel like he's starting to become so volatile that if you continue to push him, you don't necessarily know what might happen. In fact, you see him start
Okay.
to twitch, start to get like
Okay.
almost reach for his hand under the table slowly, keep it there.
Yeah, so I feel like that in that case, like Sierra would just, whisper to the doctor, like, hey, I don't know what your penchant is in your side of the office for committing crimes against civilians, but we should probably go, because my office at least frowns on, creating high-level incidents for no reason.
I mean, I wouldn't say no reason, but if we're done here,
I mean, I would argue pissing you off is not the best reason, but to each their own, I suppose.
While they're doing that, Louisa's gonna say thank you to the guy. But, oh,
Thank you. Finally, someone that's nice to me. At least it's you. Us people around here in rural Virginia, we gotta. Everybody else, outsiders. This is our. We're family here. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. And he noticeably calms down. He noticeably stops twitching a little bit. And in a rare moment of empathy in an otherwise cruel world as a Delta Green agent, you actually de-escalate the situation without violence.
you
Right.
can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's not. He's upset, but he was already. It doesn't require a roll because he was already partial towards you, and he's happy to see you kind of double down on that, even as your agents were like, tough guy in it, getting harder. That's fine.
he was raised to
He
always
points out.
do that. Virginia.
He's like, listen, Adam and Marie, they lived, but Elise and her mother didn't. Of course, you know what happened to Anton. Oh yeah, I knew it was in the unit. Yeah, and I knew it was in the coffin too. That's why it was my grandmother's. But whatever. Go check it out. Go to 1204. Tell me what happens when you come back.
Have a nice night.
Mhm. So we have location 1204 with the Teray family where they live. We have other Delta Green agents. We have the house itself, and we have potential records on other people. It seems like we're going to that property, but want to let the agents figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Murphy would wait to speak until they get back into the car. Probably putting the shotgun in that center console area. And she will wait till everybody's in before driving down the road just a little bit and then just pulling off to the side, placing the car in park, and then turning to look at everyone. I mean, I guess we solved one part of the mission, that it seems like that location is involved in some way based on Agent Garrett's notes. But she just sort of rubs her hands through her hair.
Dr. Murphy, if I may.
Sabrina?
Throw a small notebook, really like a little handheld thing. She scribble information, names, relevant dates, and a body count. Since 1950, this has been 50 years. I don't need to defend your suspicions. They're valid. These still could be coincidence. It's
But what's 50
Even
years in a place like this?
pardon?
Well, Louisa said, what's 50 years in a place like this?
Good
Well,
point.
20 people dead in 50 years is actually not much. It's Bermuda Triangle all over again. Bad things happen,
it's
and if you're watching too closely, it seems like a pattern.
Population
Yes,
size.
Sierra.
I mean,
20 people over the course of 50 years for a city is nothing. But this town probably only has maybe a couple thousand. Like, that's huge. The other thing though is, I don't know if you caught that, but at the end there, the guy had mentioned something about the mirrors and people being trapped in the mirrors. I
Stuck
already
in the
seen
mirrors.
something like that.
Do we know the population of the
So-
town?
Wait, I have it here somewhere. I'll flip through my notes. Oh, dear handler, can I make a check to try to see about the population? I want to do
Yeah, of course.
pattern spotting. I have mathematics. I want to just do like a crunching of the numbers, essentially, like population data.
Yeah. Let's just roll some math.
Like we're looking at census math, essentially, and then who even reports deaths? Kind of see no. Yeah, we're gonna roll some math. My math is 60. No, my mathematics is 40 as a skill. So what am I rolling here?
Yeah, so it would just be a D100, and then we got to get 40 or less. That is a close one. You can't really tell the exact population, for the area. It is less than you'd expect. However, the issue really is that you don't expect to see so few people on the streets. Is that you don't see such a lack of activity in an area where even any number of people really reside. So even though you don't you fail the check to figure out the exact amount, you're still able to kind of really hone in on the idea that people are scared, they're missing, right, or they're at least something's keeping them.
So there's a Delta Green member in the area, Emil.
Yeah. So Emil Yarrow is a fellow academic in a nearby town of Fulton.
Oh, okay, nearby town.
But I mean, when I say nearby, I mean these are rural towns. So really, it's like go down the street in 5 minutes, and it's considered a different town, right? Even though it's not, it's not necessarily a long drive. I would say that it would be roughly the same distance, maybe 20 minutes longer than your drive over to the Meadowbrook Storette.
You think it's too late to go question another Delta Green agent, or do we go check out the Terry house?
Good choice.
Or do we just say screw it and just go to 1206 and see what happened there?
I mean, I like the flow of that.
You're the one with the experience, Dak. I just, again, with all the weirds that's going on, I just, as long as we go together.
Sabrina, Louisa, any input?
Well, I lost the directions, so I can't tell us how to get to Fulton. I dropped them somewhere, and all I have is left is this page that's an ad for Priceline.
I mean, there's only one road. I think we can figure it out.
The first things first, if we're doing this, we're not doing this with a shotgun in the cab. Can we put it in the trunk, please? If we get pulled over, and we might get pulled over, we stop for direction. Best we don't have to explain that, right?
Sabrina, have you seen a single police car since we've entered this town? anyone
No, but I want
patrolling
you
the
to ask
streets.
yourself what it means when we finally do.
Then we'll have directions.
What kind of hellscape is DC? Like, I just want to know,
No.
what made you this way?
You guys, when I say Washington, I don't mean Washington, D.C. I mean Washington, the state.
Okay, like how bad is Seattle? 'Cause I only heard there was hippies up there, and like I thought that it was like a peaceful place, but apparently you're making it sound like it's Mad Max. So like how, like, is this just something that's not in the newest? Like, where are we at here?
She just like sort of deadpan looks at you. Like, I'm not from Seattle. I'm from Spokane. And
Oh,
never mind. No one from the side of the face gets that. Yeah.
I out of
she'll-
character get that.
But she'll put the car into drive and just like start going. Kind of,
To
I
the
guess.
house?
Yes.
See,
To see
you
if
just
anyone like says
notices.
anything while she's driving. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, you still feel the same pull of the property that you felt earlier as the street lights illuminate in sequential
Yeah,
order
exactly.
again. You know, just take let's do a quick sanity roll and see if you take that one small piece of sanity. And essentially, like, it is a success. You do take so you take no no sanity loss in this case. You feel confident about what you're doing. You're in control. You're on your way to this house, and you feel like it's the right thing to do. Like it hasn't been planted or anything. You know, it feels organic. You're growing in frustration about the mystery surrounding the house, and you're looking to put a stop to it. Yeah, in a very sheriff-like way. Um, if we'll see what the others have to say regarding where you've taken them to, um, as you know the nighttime kind of rolls over and they realize where you've pulled up to in just about 15 short minutes after you leave the storage. We're going to be taking a quick 10-minute break for everybody here, and then we'll come back when we arrive at 1206 Spooner Street, finally, the mystical house, and see the property that everybody's been talking about. See you in 10 minutes, everybody. Hey everyone, and we're back to Delta Green, figuring out what's going on, arriving at this specific haunted house at 1206 Spooner Street, or as Sabrina was saying in the car ride over, a statistical anomaly. Let's figure out if that's true or not. So we end up kind of arriving, pulling up to the street. Again, you start hearing phones go off in nearby telephone booths. You see the street lights flicker. You even see some of the sewers kind of over, like the drainage grates kind of over flood, all pointing light or flowing water towards the property on your way there. It's really not such a long distance, but it's it's clear that whatever is happening, does want you to be there, to really see, figure out what's going on. Hey, thanks, Tabletop Horde. Aw, that's great. Welcome, everybody, for some Delta Green. We've just arrived at some haunted house action, seeing what's going on. We have 4 new agents, all doctors, figuring out what's going on. So let's see if these eggheads can.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if these eggheads can put their
Doctor.
can put it together and figure out what's going on. Okay, what you arrive to is an unassuming house. It's 2-story with a small little,
Louisa.
single car garage. I'm sorry. So it was just for a single car garage with like a 2-story property, some little satellite dishes. It seems to be sort of a brand new, you know, master bedroom with a small little with the garage itself and the metal looking relatively new compared to the rest of the property. The property was built essentially at the turn of the century, and you can tell, right? You can tell that it has like these turn of century like aesthetics. It's been remodeled and repainted over a little bit, but it still has like this grand arches and kind of a wooden foundation with some like brick exterior molding that really kind of holds it up and keeps it sturdy. It seems in relatively good repair, but apart from that, it looks like a normal place. It doesn't look really wildly different. And you arrive in the driveway.
Yep, she will pull up right in front of that 2-car garage, 1-car garage, small garage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you pull right inside, or up to?
No. Just in front of it.
Oh, in front of it.
Because
Sure,
I'm sure the thing is down.
Yeah, it's closed for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you pull right in front of it. The lights are the lights. I mean, the lights are beaming against like this bright white metal, white painted metal for the garage door. And once again, you see light reflections, and off the corner of your eye, you see these black spots picking up. This seems to be the first. It for the first time, however, it seems to be kind of strewn across the entire distance of the light of the reflection. It's not like small real dots like you were seeing before. It clearly the effect is stronger here than it has been in previous encounters. So.
And we all see this, right?
Everybody
or
sees
is it just
right?
Murphy? Okay.
Yeah, everybody does see it, but it's kind of, Murphy gets a good look at it first. Not that it really changes much, but you're allowed to kind of comment on it if you wish. Everybody at this point would need to roll some a sanity check. All 4 agents for a supernatural, a benign supernatural effect.
Oh. Well.
All right.
This will be great. Oh no.
All right, that's a success. So we got 2 successes, 1 failure for Sierra, and let's see how Luisa's goes. But essentially, yeah, that's Oh, but it seems like is that the newer one? Oh, it is. So it's 2 failures then, right? It seems like. It seems like has failed as well.
Can you tell me what I roll again? Like kind of
Yeah, so it's just a D1 1D100, and then whatever the sanity is, it's equal to or below.
What do I roll?
Wow, raids on raids. Hey everyone, thanks for the raid.
Oh wow, raids on raid.
Aw. Welcome everybody from Delta Green Action in a spoopy house at the beginning of the fall. Let's see what happens if they can make it out. Yeah, we just got a spooky house. It's the real spooky house. All right, so that's a pass, right? So we got 2 failures, 2 successes for the successes, which would be, Louisa and Sabrina here. Both of you would only take 1 sanity loss, whereas Sierra and Dr. Murphy, both of you for me, please. Yeah, roll that 1d4, and let's see how much sanity is lost here as well. There's also been no chance to regain the sanity throughout the night. This is your first night on the job, and we're kind of doesn't seem like the agents are taking it easy.
30 and my power.
Oh no, you're good. So 30 is lower than your sanity. 30 should be lower than your sanity, which means you're good. You
My power,
passed.
right?
Your sanity.
Or sanity.
Sanity, yeah. So you would lose 1 sanity.
It's
So I lose 2.
7.
Yeah, exactly. And then Dr. Murphy would only lose 1 here because of that roll, which is pretty good. So that's why there's been so many minor. They're trying to get at you, and you're all kind of doing this in one night. There's no breaks. It's getting to the point that before you get inside the house, you're going to start suffering from exhaustion, in which it would kind of make everything 20% more difficult, unless you use a sort of stimulant or a sedative to kind of ward off some of the exhaustive symptoms.
Oh, what was the sanity loss here right now?
Yeah, it was just
violence
it was 2.
Or...
Oh, what kind?
Yeah,
It should be
no.
supernatural. Supernatural, yeah, but
So...
that one doesn't have a track.
Okay, so it's
just
not violence or helplessness.
No.
Okay, cool.
No. Exactly.
Okay.
Does anybody happen to have a? Does anybody have a pack of cigarettes or alcohol or pills to pass around?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I feel like Dr. Murphy would probably have some pills of questionable nature. She's a doctor.
Of questionable nature.
And it's just caffeine. Caffeine uppers.
Ideal. It's ideal.
Right.
Yeah. How do the others feel about the pills?
She just sort of reaches inside her coat, shakes the bottle a little bit.
I kind of feel like Sierra just probably has some like Diet Red Bull or something in her bag, so like she'd just be like,
So Louisa's going to be like Johnny. It's past bedtime. She have like one of those 5-hour.
So I think you're saying like what I heard was 5-hour and like energy, pills essentially, and just like trying to take it or some energy pills, and essentially use that as a caffeine bar. Yeah, awesome, right? So everybody's able to you put these pills in drinks that they want. In drinks that they want or wherever they want to kind of crack open a little capsule and put some caffeine in it. For some of you, it seems to be like a drink. For others, it seems to be like a little shot. For some people, they can just take it. All right, and so everybody's fine with the caffeine. All right, on your way, dealing well into almost 1 a.m. here, getting to this house.
I feel like basically, before downing your drink, like Sierra just kind of like, again, takes off the glasses after seeing like the stuff on the garage and just does like one of these. Ugh. And just.
Can Murphy? She's gonna shift the car into reverse, and then just back up a couple of feet before driving up onto the grass and letting the headlights shine on the front door to see if she sees like that same sort of blackness.
The fact that you specify that you're kind of with a little bit of distance, and it's kind of illuminating a wider area. There are reflections, but because there's no specific long surface area of any reflective surface, seems to all be illuminated pretty evenly. You don't really see any of this activity. What you do see, however, is because of the light now, you're able to see some sort of ivy going basically above the garage and to the right to the roof, essentially allowing you to kind of climb up if as one way if you needed to get up there. Or so you essentially there's two entrances that you're getting to. You're at the front entrance, and then there's like this ivy, and then there's a garage door if you feel like you can get past the door somehow.
Yeah, she'll just put the car back into park right there on the grass, and move to open her door to get out after probably dry swallowing like a couple of the caffeine pills that she has. She would like turn and like give the bottle a shake towards Sabrina, because I don't think they took anything to stay awake. 1 second.
No.
Yes, that's 20% push rolls. Let's see how it goes.
Save yourself.
All right, so yeah, no. What seems to be the front door is still this. It seems to be this main pathway for you right now. Just gonna go in guns
Yes.
blazing. All right.
Well, the gun in hand. We're not
The
firing
gun in hand,
yet.
not firing.
No blazing yet.
Blazing, no blazing.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
No blazing.
No blazing.
Sierra has the camera and is basically like taking on the oh god, what is that video game? The one video game where you have the camera that shoots the ghosts.
I love that game.
Yeah,
it-
I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know the game, and I forget what it's called.
Phasmophobia.
It's a fatal frame.
Not
That's
that
good. Yeah.
game.
So
But the
Yeah, no,
one before it
but
that
I-
came around the same time Silent Hill did.
yeah, I think it's Fatal Frame, and it's really cool. How you
Yes,
have the
Fatal Frame.
camera.
Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I completely get your analogy about the camera. That's exciting. So okay, sure. So you're trying to scan.
Yeah.
You are able to use the lights for quick
Mhm.
reflections. Let's try to do. I don't know. What skill do you think this would be good to kind of probe areas to before you get there?
Let me see. Occult? Yeah, either occult or unarmed combat.
I think a call would be great. I think a call would be
Okay.
the perfect use here. Yeah. So let's see
Awesome.
how you do on that occult.
Hey! Ooh, that's a good roll.
All right. So yeah, that's a fantastic roll. You're able to kind of hop out of the car first and enter the dining room. It's a 13 by 14 room, and essentially it connects to the kitchen with a long, vaulted roof with little like facades and fake balconies, making the interior seem a lot larger than it really is. That creates a lot of like empty space, so you just start taking pictures everywhere you can, trying to get as much of it lit as you can. As it happens, you feel like you see these splatters of this grime slip off the different surfaces as the repeated flash kind of like slides off and pools in a congealed river of slime along
Ugh.
the hallways of this dining room. As the sludge starts to harden up a little bit, it bubbles in one particular area and pushes to the forefront after it hardens a book. It is a text that
So
is out
yeah,
of the
she's
wall.
just like, Louisa, there's a book here.
I like books.
You might not like this one, sweetheart.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah,
This is
so
Apparently,
the
I would.
the tome is dusty. It has like a little like a name square for some personal information, but it looks rusted, almost unreadable, and very corroded. It seems to be bound in this sort of like leather that's very thin and sort of tanned over time and kind of lost its stretchy capability. It's very dry. It's very like dry book, and when you touch it, you're not really sure what it's what kind of leather it's made out of. This seems to be a like a regular journal, and you can choose to inspect it now, or call your fellow agents in and figure out what's going on in this dining room,
I'll inspect
or
it
both.
now. I'll call them over like
Okay.
this is a really nice old book.
Yeah.
The
So room's
leather's in
clear. Luis and Sierra are in there.
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina and Dr. Murphy, if you wish to hop in inside as well.
Look, I'm going where Murphy's going, but still pretty skeptical. Yeah, Sabrina still thinks
So,
it's smoke and mirrors.
So what would I
So
roll to
we
would it be history or anthropology or
Yeah, whatever you think would be best suited. Um, I think those are both solid for figuring out what kind of text this is,
okay.
and it'd be the same. Just roll that d100, and then let's see if it's like equal to or less.
The buttons are moving around. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So yeah, you definitely take a look at it, but you know you can't really figure out what's going on. You know, in regards to it, it looks very old, and you know that this house was built turn of century. So you imagine that the oldest it could be is probably around as old as the property itself, roughly putting it at about 100 years old. However, that would mean that it would belong to uh, somebody that you you know that did live here, that did know something about the property, and does require some further investigation. The problem is that once you know, you're trying to get a feel for the text, you're looking at it, the dust kind of catches you off guard. You're not really an asthmatic person, um, but it really starts to really get in there and compact, dry up, and it makes you feel like you're in a warehouse of dust, and it's just funneling, untouched for years, right? As dirty as it possibly can be, um, and in that kind of air, there's all kinds of there's worse things than toxins in air of a potentially cursed slime grime tome.
I'm gonna
Please
turn to
roll.
everyone. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that
Oh, you
information.
go ahead.
Like
Uh
I'm turning into a zombie. But what do I need to roll? That's just something we say
huh.
normally.
Is that so that's yeah, sure, you exaggerate about it. Actually, you know, sure, because you exaggerate about it, it adds to your helplessness of the situation. Please roll 2d6 for me, or you know, after a sanity check. Let's see how that sanity goes first.
Okay, is that a
So that'd be
D100?
another D100. Yep, that'd be another D100.
Ah, I did it wrong. Nobody saw that. 46.
Okay, that is a success for Louisa. That does make things easier, right? You'll take the lower amount. In this case, you'll take 4 sanity, just one less than a potential acute episode or a loss of sanity. Um, you might even be reaching your breaking point soon. One or two more of these types of affairs will put you in a much worse position next time.
Well, we
All
don't
right.
want to see
The
that.
text is still there, though. The text is still there, though. If anybody wants to crack it open.
So they're in the dining area, you said,
Mm-hmm.
off to the left of this entryway, or somewhere off of the entryway. So what
Yeah.
is like from the entry door, like the general layout that they can see just kind of standing in the front of the house?
Yeah. So
And do
you
they
start. You're
know
standing
where? Oh, sorry, Garrett's body was found.
where Garrett's body. So he was found in the same exact spot that the previous owner Yamila also lived in. This woman from the United Arab Emirates died in the same spot, throat slit, same way in the master bedroom. Um, you know, the master bedroom seems to have been the place, from what you gather, speaking to Miglia, that a large number of people of this like 18 or nearly 20 that died, a more than about half was really in the master bedroom, and it seems to be the focal point for the majority of the deaths, or at least where they say that they're found at the end. Standing in front of the house, pondering this, um, let's see. You're being specifically perceptive. You're trying to figure out what's going on. Roll me a sort of perceptive style skill, or maybe even an int stat check.
Me too. And
You feel something off.
nope. Oh my
Okay.
god. Wait, no, this isn't Cthulhu. Never mind. I thought I could spend luck to make it a success, but wrong game.
Yeah. All right. So you see this message uh, above kind of everything. It's this blue background on the wood panels, painted blood red. Hell is me. The dripping. It looks fresh, and it seems like to almost be coming out of the wall, gushing out. Right, like someone's punctured a vein, an artery, and someone's losing blood. The house itself is in pain. Hell is me. You lose yourself and the failure of it. This is going to be another 2d6 sanity check if or after the check to see if again that fails.
Dang it.
Another success, a good one too. Okay, so this will just be the same amount. That'll be at 4 sanity. Another huge bust to it, and the house is full of surprises. So losing sanity at a quite a big rate. Do you want to describe
Is
your the loss of?
um yes. So is this writing like some at a location where she's able to try and touch it?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can totally like uh, double down and go touch the blood on the gushing
Let's
house. Yeah, the injured house if you wish, for sure.
perfect. So I feel like Dr. Murphy just sort of is looking over the house, her eyes scanning just the architecture, trying to get a layout based on like where windows are and like what she had, read in the missive. And then her eyes just sort of freeze on this moment of the blood, or what looks to be blood leaking out of this house, and it kind of for a moment takes her back to various like operating rooms that she's been in where she just couldn't stop the bleeding with a patient, and just kind of no matter where she put her hands, no matter where she tried to suture or anything to stop it, just wouldn't end. um, and for the briefest of moments she just wants to reach out and touch this house to see if maybe she could stop that bleeding. It's just like not even her in control right then. So she's gonna touch it.
Okay, yeah, you're sure. With that, let's roll. I'm gonna make the suggestion here. Occult would probably be a solid roll, and let's see if you can really feel the energy of the
The
blood
pulse.
leaking from this house.
Is there any modifiers or just straight occult?
Yeah, no, this is just occult. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm not passing an occult check.
No. Okay. Um, this
Don't
is going
believe in
to
that
be
voodoo.
yeah. This is going to be a heavy. There's gonna be some heavy sanity loss again. Please roll for me a sanity check first before we describe what happens here.
Sorry. Dang it. Okay, success.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. It's pretty solid. What's your breaking point?
I'm I'm 7 away.
7 away. Okay. So it's going to be 2d10 sanity. So let's roll to see what happens.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
So we'll
Ah,
say,
jeez.
what I was gonna do was half it. Since you got a success anyway, it still is 7. Um, so two things kind of happen at the same time. It's above 5 sanity at one particular point, so you start suffering an acute loss of sanity immediately, and so you'll have to describe how you run in horror in just a moment here. Uh, so let's I mean that's actually the biggest thing here. So let's just see what happens. You touch the blood. You feel an element of the house reach out to you. You feel Donnelly walking down to the basement that you can find kind of yeah, in the den, right? There's an entrance to the basement in the den under the stairs, essentially, and you see him kind of walking under these stairs, following down to a cavern, and there seems to be like a red-tinged area with a void-faced man, similar to what you've been seeing, kind of just light piercing through, but nothing coming out, nothing coming back. Just you can stare at it and kind of just see the night sky with no stars. Donnelly looks at his hands. You're kind of looking through his eyes, and you see that he's not really physical. It's just sort of this ethereal figure walking towards uh, a chalice with a small bronze knife next to it, and the same brown leathery text you saw on a small pedestal to its left, with this void-faced man presiding. It overtakes you as you start to see your own hands. Like you're looking for a second, it's like somebody else's hands. You blink for a moment, and it's yours, right? Your fingernails, your cuts, the scrapes that you've taken, potentially fighting with Miglio at the store. You are suffering from this acute loss of sanity now. How does it affect you? What do the others see?
Um, so Dr. Murphy, again in that trance-like state, had reached out and touched the house. And I guess only Sabrina would be seeing this, right? Because they are on the outside while Louisa and Sierra are on the inside.
Yeah, so Sabrina would be the one closest. Yeah, they are on the inside, but I mean, if you're screaming or something, is that they can they're within earshot.
Yeah. So Sabrina would just sort of see Dr. Murphy's body go completely rigid as she just freezes, taking in what she sees from Donnelly and this void-faced man. And after just the briefest of seconds, she finally wrenches her hand back and stumbles a couple steps backwards before falling, and then scrambling up onto her hands and knees. And she looks up at you, and her face is just sheet white, her eyes wide, and it's almost like there's this silent scream there that she just hasn't released yet, and an utter look of panic as she scrambles to her feet quickly and runs straight at you.
Oh,
Just
screaming, of course, screaming.
Screaming.
But in like an awkward way. Like when something happens and you don't know how to respond, sometimes you accidentally try to help the person that's attacking you for a while because you can't process that they're attacking you. So I actually lunged towards you, thinking you're screaming like like you need help, and then I realized you're lunging towards me, and then I just sort of pivot, um, just immediately calling out for help. Something's obviously wrong, and I don't want to be the 19th, you know?
Somebody,
maybe.
but Dr. Murphy is running at you though. So, do you want to get out of the way? Do you want to uh, resist? Do you want to stand your ground?
Oh no, I'm not running through this building. No, I know Krav Maga. Yeah, no, it's not an issue. Um,
Dodge.
yeah, no, yeah, I'm like what half her age, and I've got perfect health, and I'm quick-footed.
Perfect. I'm in
Um,
perfect health.
yeah, I'm gonna try to. I have athletics.
That's pretty
I'm
good.
just gonna try
That's
to.
pretty good
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
That's pretty good for dodge.
yeah. All right, we're gonna do athletics because I do want to. I guess get out of the way, but not run. What's no, that's wrong. That's wrong.
All
I
right.
need to actually make it.
So
I need to
That's
make it.
Oh
right. That's
no.
right.
Hey,
we got a
So
we
no
hey,
no
got
no
a
no no
we got a
no.
100.
So she ran into her knife. She ran into her knife 10 times.
Yeah, yeah. This is gonna
Yeah.
be great. So I'll take a note from chat here. About tripping. You were trying to get out of the way. You were trying to dodge. Um, for getting a 100. For a critical failure such as that. Uh,
yep.
Dr. Amanda Murphy, in a fit of this loss of sanity, runs straight into you, kind of charging. You try to dodge, you try to get out of the way, and kind of, you said it yourself, pivot, kind of on your heels and turn quick direction 90 degrees. In doing so, you spin out, and your heel slips on the little kind of tile beneath you, a little terraced cobblestone. It's too rough. You are tripped yourself. You also touch kind of like the blood behind you. It kind of yeah, just like that, right? It, like leans back into you, right into your hair, and and it just kind of starts gushing onto your face, right? Like it just kind of starts drenching
Okay.
you, right? You have a similar vision of what's going on, and it's you feel the basement, the bronze dagger, the chalice, the book being at the center of it all. Uh, it comes at a price, right? Your lack of belief in this, your over skepticism in this, this is completely contradictory, right? And you really can't coalesce those two ideas together at the same time. It's going to be another sanity check. Same thing, 2d12. If a little bit worse than the
2d12.
2d10 last time. Yeah, because of your over skepticism. Just a little bit worse.
Yeah, my cognitive dissonance really threw 7 at me. Okay. Okay. All right.
All right.
Oh.
So 7. It is also enough for a loss of sanity. Anything over 5 is a loss of sanity, right? Um, the blood is too much for you to handle, and from essentially perfect, I'm in good health, maybe not 1 minute and 30 seconds ago, in real time, straight up to on the ground covered in house blood, potentially screaming, or however,
Right.
how does Sabrina react to such a breaking?
Um. Well, working with Delta Green, um, it was a lot easier to go about her business with the assumption that the fanfare was really just that, and to accept that maybe these dark, disturbing things and the overreach of something like Delta Green. Uh, Suffice to say that the kaleidoscope has opened, and what is on the other side is not colorful and vibrant, but is rather horrific and cause for great suffering. Um, yeah, Rita's a point away from the breaking point, essentially, and has to reevaluate um, basically every piece of paper she's ever signed off for Delta Green. Now to realize that there really is a lot of fucked up things uh, just under the surface, and she's about waist deep in one of them right now.
Uh, Taking a cue from what you said about having to verify, you actually do gain a disorder for this acute episode. The disorder would be that you are obsessive about these documents, right? About any shred of paper, you feel like you can't trust anymore, right? This text keeps appearing. This directive from A didn't mention anything about the extremely dangerous nature of the property, or at least the fact that all 4 agents could potentially lose their lives very quickly. And you start kind of just taking out your backpack and you pour all the contents onto the floor, while you're still covered in this blood, trying to kind of parse through it, and really ignoring that for a second while you focus on what's important to Sabrina. Um, Louise, Louisa and Sierra, uh,
Mhm.
you know, you hear all of this
Yeah.
happen, right?
Well,
You've
so
been
what
full.
what
So
what happened with Louisa's break? Cuz like we were, I thought, resolving that, or did I miss that?
yeah, no. So it was Murphy that had
Okay.
the
Well,
yeah
yeah, no, but like Louisa had the book, and there was like that weird stuff happening with the book. So
oh
did
yeah,
that
yeah,
get resolved?
but the
Yeah, okay.
yeah, no, yeah, that got resolved. It was just a
Okay.
loss of 4, one less than the than
Okay.
the temporary loss of sanity. Yeah, so
Okay.
Luis is
Awesome.
fine, but the book is still potently dangerous, seemingly necessary as well. While this is happening
Okay.
outside, and you and you hear everything, Murphy did not gain a disorder, although there was a similar thing that is just not, there was nothing
Yeah.
immediate that is changing about Murphy as
Okay.
well. But keep that in mind, right?
Uh, okay, Louisa. Maybe we should go over there, and you can take your new friend, and we can go over there with our buddies, who sound like they could use a hug, maybe. Does that sound like a good idea?
So you're suggesting hug team up?
Yeah, basically.
I think it's a fantastic idea. Louisa, do you want to participate in the hug team up?
No, but they need our help.
No,
So
but
we
it seems
should help
needed.
them.
We should. Okay.
Okay.
Essentially, the both of you work out a plan of action, a strategy on who to target, who to go after who, right? To target these hugs at. So let's get a combined roll. Let's
It's a
Okay.
terrible
say
idea, but
let's say that this is going to be athletics, right? Because you have people that are
whatever is
obviously
Okay.
not.
happening.
Yeah, they're not able to process what's
Yes.
going on.
Any
And they
modifiers?
do need your help. Still no modifiers.
Okay. Uh-oh.
But
Oh,
they,
no.
they could be. They could.
I mean, my character does have that awkward trait, so
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
I'm doing my best to play it up.
yeah, you awkwardly, you definitely awkwardly
Yeah,
fumble.
just bring it
On the
in,
way,
guys. Ah!
I got 5. I gotta see.
you're not able to really make it to them.
That
You
athletic?
kind of
Uh-huh.
trip up on the carpet on the way there
Um,
and
Oh,
crash
no.
into another pedestal.
I'm looking
Oh,
for
God.
my.
So that it kind of like drops you. It drops on you. The problem is that it was an ossuary, and there's like crematory ashes in this container.
There's... What is it?
Crematory ashes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's like powdered person on you right now. Like hair. Like it's an old property.
There's
And for
dead
some
people
reason,
on me!
yeah, it seems like maybe some of the people who lived in the property prior, some of these 18 deaths, they chose to, even in death, stay with the property in the form, of this vase that's been taken from them. You do feel, a little. Again, another seeing yet another body is starting to have like cumulative effects on you, right? And you start to not be able to joke through the mountain of flesh that you have to get through to really get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
It's too much. Yeah, so let's, same thing. It's not going to be as bad as liquid house, but let's still do a sanity check and see what happens.
Okay. Welp. Oh, no. Ah, jeez.
She wishes dead people.
Uh,
She does, or dead people.
oh my god. So, what happens?
All right. Yeah. So um, let's do 2d4 here.
Okay. Oh, I'm out past my breaking point.
So actually, multiple things have happened. Yeah, you're past your breaking
Okay.
point.
Yes.
In addition to that, you're also past the 5 and 1 turn for the temporary loss of sanity. So it's kind of
Okay.
this cumulative effect where you're taking
Yeah.
two breaks at once. What you want to do is lower your breaking point now by so whatever your current sanity is, subtract your power from that number, and that becomes your new breaking point.
Hang on. Let me figure out math. 'Cause, like...
Yeah, it is a little bit of math.
Okay, so how much do I get for the sanity do I get for the you are where's my
You lost
calculator?
8.
There's my calculator.
So from that, it
Yeah.
would be that number minus your power, and then that would be your new breaking point, which would be should be roughly like 12 to 16 less than what it was before.
Okay, so where's my power? Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So then,
After. Hmm.
okay, so 75 minus 55. Okay, so then I reduce it by that number?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome.
All right, so that's where your new breaking point is. However,
Yes.
you do immediately gain a disorder, and you
Yes.
gain this like martyrdom complex, right? Where you're always
Okay.
trying to like, put yourself in the situation or save save someone, right? And it's not like this like hero complex, because with a hero complex, like it's, you have a
Actually,
chance
I,
of
I have
winning.
a request. Can
Oh
I
yeah,
have an
yeah. What's up?
obsession with corpses?
An obsession with corpses. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean that's great. So
Like, like,
you're
like she feels safer around dead bodies now.
all right. So yeah, you wear
Yeah,
the dead people then, right? That
yeah, yeah,
and you like it. So it's just like this
yeah,
cloak of ash that you
yeah,
pat into your clothes. And you're like,
yeah.
okay,
She's
I'm
just
good now.
like,
I'm good.
okay, and like she's
I'm
like
safe.
picking up like more of it and just putting it on her, like,
Oh,
ooh.
you do
Like,
feel the many visions and lives of people that lived in this place before you. Uh, really just pass through you, the fighting, the murders, uh, I mean, even now you can see like like basically dried blood that hasn't been painted out or cleaned from the last murder, like still on the walls, like on some of the upper, like borders. Um,
Mhm.
you feel like you're safe here, like you were always meant to be here.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah,
Louis.
she's just like putting like this crematorium ash on her, just like, oh yeah, I feel it's a real nice fixer upper, like they put some good work into this place. Ah.
You start talking to these walls. You're having a
Yeah,
good time, getting
oh yeah,
cozy. Hot chocolate made out of the
everything is
ash.
great.
Yeah. Uh, Louisa did actually succeed. Let me make sure. Succeed the intellectual. Actually, okay, it was a 65. It's not as huge a loss. It is still a loss. Um, I just want to see what would happen in this situation. The door shuts before Louisa makes it outside, and Louisa is stopped by the door for this failure. In addition, you start hearing coming from the door that's now closed with Sabrina and Dr. Murphy on the other side. Uh, just take one sanity with no roll, just for the knock itself, and then you have a choice to leave your fellow agents behind and not open it, or open yourself up to danger and open the door and see what's on the side of the knock.
I'm still in the house, right?
Mm-hmm. You're in the house with the door closed. It closed as you were running outside to heal them with your hugs.
You don't want me to roll a sanity?
Not for the first one. Just take one flap, and
Okay.
then let's see what happens. And then you have a choice to either take a guaranteed sanity hit if you open the door, or leave them and don't. It's up to you. You are the
You know
last
what?
sane
I want
person.
to open the door.
Uh-huh. All right. So you want to open the door. Okay. So let's either do a cult. Let's try to do a cult and see what happens.
Yes.
Okay. It is a super success, right? You do get you're like above, like a crit on this.
Okay.
What I will say is that when you open the door, for the kind of a roll that you got, um, you see like the shape of a human crumble, of a human-like shape, a humanoid crumble to dust as you open the door, with like a black mist, heavy, falling to the ground quickly as the cracks of the ash open, exposing it to air, and the black mist falls out and falls to the ground heavily very quickly. You got the crit. You don't have to be scared of it. There was something there, but your resilience, your bravery in the face of what's going on, was enough for you to get through. Um, the doors open, and you have a Sabrina covered in blood searching for ancient lore in journal clippings. You have Sierra covered in ash behind you, um, seemingly trying to pile more and more, in this sort of like mountain cloak. And you have you have Dr. Murphy as well, covered in the same kind of coagulated blood, uh, you know, frazzled and grabbing, at the head and just unable to take it. It's a disaster. You're barely through the house. You can like heal them.
Just talk to them like they're normal.
Yeah, you're gonna
I
have
can
to
heal
like try
them.
to heal them or continue on your own. And trying to tend to one's wounds on hollowed ground isn't necessarily recommended either. So you open yourself up to further assaults, further manifestations by this property if you keep at it. Yeah. Hmm. So let's see what goes on with Louisa. Essentially, the house is much larger than you already knew it to be. Being inside,
She's going to
at
try to
least you were
heal them
able.
and just tell them that they wanted to stay in the house. All they had to do was ask.
Yeah, they wanted to stay in the house, but that's what happens, and everybody wants to go to the house, but the house is the right place to go, right? That really was the source of it after all. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Maybe a scorched earth policy is the right thing to do, at this point. Yeah, yeah.
Are we able to become like unfazed like after our episode, or how long does it last?
Yeah. So it with the rest of that we've taken, what I'll take is a successful sanity roll to see if it ends. Normally, it would just end with time, but it's been such a short time frame. But you acknowledge like the resilience that you need to get up, right? That this is like a life or death moment. If it doesn't happen, like you can't. So let's, but you need to try to actively take control of yourself. All right. So that's
I
the first
also
success. Uh-huh.
I had the question of with mine since initially at least it wasn't supernatural. Was it related to the incidents or no?
Oh, the yeah. So the most recent stuff would all be considered as like supernatural, just as
Okay.
like the yeah, the manifestations are coming at you. But
Sure.
in your loss of sanity, if you were
Uh-huh.
to, you could also try to kind of stave off that loss of sanity by
Mm-hmm.
by taking it out on one of your agents, one of your colleagues. And so you
Oh,
can kind of
okay.
like try to put like dust on them and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You take the cloak. Like I don't want it anymore, right?" Or something similar.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, the cloak
so
makes me happy.
the
Like,
cloak's
like
mine.
this
Yeah,
is
the
this is
cloak's yours.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
okay, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The cloak's
no,
yours.
like I'm getting
Okay,
a hug by everybody who's come before. That's great.
that's the worst thing I've
Uh,
ever heard.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
no, it's fine. Like, why do you
Beautiful.
hate, your forebears?
Your forebears.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a success.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Perfect. I mean that's success for sanity roll, right? That was nothing required on putting it on somebody else. So you're
Yeah.
able to kind of come, snap back, and you do acknowledge that the ash on you, not dust, the ash, the people dust,
Mhm.
uh, what it is and why it's wrong, but you don't want, like, you can't stop. Like it's
Yeah.
too, the obsession
Yeah.
lingers with or without the loss of your sanity. So yeah, right. It's like skeevy. Yeah. Ooh, that's an awful feeling. Sabrina, would you also?
Yeah, well,
Muted.
Sabrina doesn't want to lose any information.
Of course,
Can you hear me?
of course. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't lose any more
So,
information.
because you can't. First thought is obviously you just burn this whole place down, but then it's gone, and you're an outsider. You're gaslit for the rest of eternity because your story um, isn't true. So Sabrina, she needs to leave with any sort of evidence. But everyone needs to leave, obviously. Her obsession is such that she can't leave unless she has evidence that there's something wrong here. Who has the car keys?
Murphy.
Okay.
Uh, do I
Yeah.
still feel like the house is a safe place, or have I gotten over that now?
No, that's something that even
Okay.
with the traumatic
Okay.
experiences, everybody is starting to feel that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Like nobody wants to leave anymore. Nobody can think of a world outside of the house anymore. That world is becoming
Yeah.
smaller and smaller.
Just I don't know. I mean, it's really weird outside. It feels like here we can, we can defend ourselves. There's all this eclectic decor. Uh, Look at some of these tchotchkes. Like, that's some quality taste right there.
No, so no, no.
Question: does Louisa want to stay too?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yes. Yeah, everybody wants to stay, and that it's like, of course, that you're having troubles in the house, that you're in danger, but you're not. You just can't really picture yourself getting back in the car and leaving. There's just like no desire to do so. The only thing you can think about is that basement pulling
Yeah.
you further, deeper into the property.
So I feel like Sierra would like grab a clump of the ashes and like walk over to Sabrina and be like, "Here, I can put some of this on you, and it'll be very protective. You'll feel so much better."
The I'll say that the ash, yeah, gets onto some of the papers. It kind of
Uh-huh.
like clumps up, down on these clippings. Um, but it does, like, almost like in a Ouija board style fashion, reveal like one area that's not covered by the ash. That is to a specific journal clipping that Sabrina had, in reference to the first person that she remembers living here. And something that Miglia really talked about was with his grandmother that he brought back, or that she brought back, he and his whole family. When Sierra, you were wearing your ash cloak, you
Mm-hmm.
felt really like the first owner of the property, right? Um, and it was Isabel Wheeler. Isabel was a woman who lived was the first person in the house when it was built in the like in the 1900s, about 1906, 1905 or so, up until her death in basically 55. And she was already like 40 when in 1905, right? So she died very old, might be under the same influence that was happening to Miglio earlier with, kind of extending your life longer than you should. When you pass it over to Sabrina, Sabrina feels the same pain of Wheeler. And you both see this woman, wrinkly, kind of chanting in Italian, what you definitely can like know to be occult sayings and ritual magic over the person whose ashes are on you, over Isabel's ashes in the past. Essentially, this process of how to keep her living longer, and that wasn't just for her,
Mm-hmm.
kind of pans up to this person that Miglio was talking about. You can only tell it's his grandmother, who he called, Adele. Adele, his
Mm.
grandmother, right? The same
Um.
memory that you have of the death in 55,
Mm-hmm.
the same woman is there, but she looks healthy. She looks the same as she did in 1905. And you can tell that she's been kind of at the core of it for a while. Sabrina really picks up on this and kind of feels the same pain, drawing her towards the basement once more as everybody starts to kind of shift in.
On my sheet, it has foreign languages listed at 70 and 30. Could one of them be Italian or
Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's
okay,
fantastic, right?
okay.
Hmm.
Uh, so let me put it in the sheet. Are you fine with me listing it as the 70?
Yeah, yeah. If
Okay,
that's what it was, yeah, for sure. That's
sweet.
awesome. That's that's perfect for the situation.
Okay.
All right, yeah, that's definitely a pass.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, 35%
So
on your Italian check.
what do I hear or speaking in Italiani?
Hmm. So you hear two distinct terms.
Mm,
You hear l'uomo nero, which is essentially like the dark man.
like the
El
dark woman.
l'uomo,
Oh,
el uomo nero. Yeah, el uomo
yeah.
nero, right? With a separate, what seems to be in the memory, reading from the text that again was on the pedestal. So the same diary that you have
Mm-hmm.
now. In reading it, so chanting the Italian from the text, that
Mm-hmm.
you hear, she calls the convoci el nuovo nero. It's like the convocation of the dark man, is essentially what that translates to. Um, in the basement, he's talking uh, while this faceless void figure is chanting these words. Um, the special agent Donnelly is in the center of what seems to be a sacrificial circle,
Mm-hmm.
blood running into the small cracks of the floor he's on in the basement. A human sacrifice seems required for whatever ritual this entity does to people that pass through its walls. And it adds a new layer to all of these deaths. Someone must have been sacrificed for them to truly call upon like the power of the dark man who lives here. At the same time that that happens, in every reflection visible to you currently, essentially you're wearing like your shutter shades, and still,
Mhm.
even with the shutter shades on, right? There's
Yeah.
enough reflections through the small shutters
Flip that back.
where each one displays half of a crooked grin up past the cheekbones, where like the kind of lips, like the flesh splits open into sort of like artificial lips past.
So,
Where
kind of like
yeah.
in Ichi the Killer.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Ugh.
and some of them are the left side, and some of them are the right side.
Yeah.
And like a woman presenting voice, like appears, to kind of like giggle at your revelation, right, of what's going on. So there's definitely Ed Normal Nero as a sort of like figurehead
Yeah.
here, but then there
Yeah.
seems to be another separate woman presenting figure at the source of these reflections, right? And so there seems to be
Um,
two entities that you're dealing with, separate from one another in the house.
yeah, so she just sort of like lower the shades, like, eh. Are you guys all seeing this here?
They are. Everybody is seeing it. Yeah, and Sabrina's regained her sanity from from witnessing this piece of evidence in the basement.
Yeah. Has Sabrina lost any? So Sabrina is about as close as possible to the breaking point. Which means I'm not sure how much she has left. Like, what happens when she reaches that breaking point?
Yeah, your disorder gets worse, and you start losing sanity at potentially like a faster rate if you start spiraling.
Mm-hmm.
Is one possibility. So there would be strong incentive to stop. There would be strong incentive just not
Yeah.
at the same time. And no one wants to leave the house. So you like don't want to continue the operation, but you don't want to
Mhm.
go home either. You're just like chill on the couch. You're like I'm gonna wait it out. Is the feeling?
Maybe I should preserve this. I mean, think about it. I don't want to be the only one that remembers this. They'll think I'm crazy. It should be preserved. It should be remembered. I'm gonna draw what I see.
Okay. Is there like an art background that you'd like to use for it?
Sabrina has absolutely no artistic, uh, really anything. There's nothing. It's going to be really rough. She has a background in mathematics, so she would just about know how a mechanical pencil works, and that's about it. Um, just more of a sketch. Just trying to get as much
Sure.
information onto a physical form as possible.
So you take a look.
What does that mean for my chance of success?
I'm sorry.
What does that mean for my chance of success? Am I still going to roll this?
I mean, if you seem so. No, it's not about a roll, but it is about what you draw, right? So you don't have to. It is relatively effortless, and you're able to kind of sketch it out since you see it so perfectly. Um, but here, essentially, you see like you draw the figure of a small child, a small girl, with a red X over and a crown over her head.
I don't know why I did this.
As you continue to stare at it, it starts to call more attention towards it. And maybe
Can
it
I
even draws others. Yeah.
can I do
You want
like
to do that, Louisa?
an anthropology roll or something to see if I can
Yes,
if I
please.
have cultural context for any sort of
Mm-hmm.
people who use that sort of ritual?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there we go.
All right. You definitely do consider this to be a symbol of witchcraft local to the area, where it almost
Okay.
resembles kind of like an infinity sign between like these
Okay.
four arms or banners, and sort of like this Mobius, right? Um, you do also recognize the crown to be associated with witchcraft as well.
Yeah.
Upon further inspection, the same half grin forms on the paper and starts tearing through it as you stare at it. Um, it continues to eat the paper and kind of eat itself, kind of collapse into itself. You hear like crunching and paper shreds flying off as it gets closer to your hand.
Yeah, like she like whips her hand away real fast.
Okay. It lands on the floor, but it starts it doesn't stop.
Okay.
And parts of the floor start eating itself, eventually going to the wall, eventually going to the tchotchkes you were describing earlier, and it seems like the house is starting to destroy itself. There seems to be too much
All right.
attention on it. It seems to, this paradox is causing is almost like a failsafe that you've triggered.
Oh.
We need to go to the
Thanks for the
basement
roll,
now.
everyone. Hey y'all.
That was a site of ritual sacrifice. If this is what we're seeing up here, then what in the fuck is gonna be down there?
It is starting entrance back, so yeah, it is pushing you towards the basement, correct?
Yeah. I mean, Murphy's already like moving towards the den to where the basement is. And she just sort of looks over her shoulder. We owe this to Agent Garrett. He was one of us.
By the great arm of Brett Favre, I'm on my way.
And as a rallying cry, right, in which you regain one stamina,
Thank you.
for such a real, genuine rallying cry. On your way down to this final issue, you have the diary with you still. You know this to be the diary involved in the consecration of this dark man's ritual, in addition to, again, at least one human sacrifice. Right, and those are confirmed details before we get down there. The four of you arrive to seemingly, once again, an almost nondescript basement, right? Not terribly large, single light bulb, white paint. But most important than anything is the ground. The ground is jagged, looking old, and it looks like the foundation of it that is really hidden under this wooden structure that you thought was the foundation from the outside on this terraced Virginia hillside. Um, it's it's ancient, right? Like you're very you feel the darkness in the ground of sorts. Bef- when you arrive, the lights start to dim a little bit, but don't really blacken or turn off. Not even flickering either, just less light.
Do any of us can Dr. Murphy have like one of those small little silver like pocket flashlights?
Yeah,
Of
camera
course.
flashes.
Oh,
Yeah,
camera flashes.
yeah. The camera
I was just
flashes
thinking like
would
the
still
concussion
suffice.
lights.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, basically just set the flash on times 50 and see what happens
Yeah.
after a while to purify the room. Yeah, please roll the same thing you rolled for it last time.
Okay, I think it
Believe
was
it
a
was a
cult.
cult. Believe it was a cult,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, here we go. Any modifiers?
Actually, yeah, we'll do a plus 20% on this one because you know what, we
Sweet.
know that it works, and it's already a dark area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely succeeds. Uh, as you flash the lights across the room, the same thing happens. The grime congeals; it falls off the wall, and it kind of like at the bottom, pooling along the edges of the room. It this time it starts to let up what seems to be human remains, bones, pieces of flesh, like dried skin, almost like petrified, in long flaps of like flayed, untanned, very thin, almost loaves, just droning and
Uh,
coming up same way from the sludge. Yeah.
I feel like Sierra would like go over to the to the boats and stuff and just be like buddies.
Yeah, you
Yep.
have that obsession with the
Yeah.
bones. So upon seeing the bones, let's do a sanity to see, even though you succeeded, to see how you react to these bones, as the rest of you uh, see this happen.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Yeah, you start to grab at them, and
Uh-huh.
instead like get yourself on the sludge as well, and it starts to harden on you just the same, so very quickly. So it kind of sticks you to the ground while you have your hands full of like bones by the edge of this
Yeah.
basement on jagged rocks, like cutting your kneecaps basically.
Ah,
Um,
jeez.
yeah.
Can she like use again the power of her corpse friends to sort of like, you know, beat it back or chisel herself out of there?
You'll see in a second. You'll like roll for
Okay.
me and let's see, and then we'll say the
Yeah.
results.
Wait. How many you want me to roll?
How many? Let's do oh, for sanity. This is for sanity. Let's
Yeah.
do. hmm
Oh no. I don't like
It
that sound.
gets yeah, it gets worse because this is about something
Okay.
that was already happening to you. So
Yeah.
let's do 2d4
Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, that's not
for
terrible.
sanity. No, it's not temporarily insane. You're able to resist it. Hopefully, you're not at your breaking point yet. Um,
Not
and
yet.
that'll be that. So Louisa,
That'll be fine.
Sabrina, and Dr. Murphy, you make it down. Room's been purified somewhat, so you have a moment to
Yeah.
really discuss what's going on, observe your text if you wish, and try to crack this ritual.
Is Sierra the one holding the text,
Mm-mm.
or is that
Louisa
Louisa?
was. Yeah.
hmm Louisa with the
Yeah,
Italian translation.
she's holding it
Uh,
and just
That was Sierra. No,
really
that was
quiet.
Sierra. My bad. I'm sorry, but I think Louisa
yeah.
had the
I
book after.
Yeah,
translated it. She has the
Yeah,
book though.
yeah.
she's just holding it and being very quiet.
Okay. Um. And Sierra had translated it, or had she translated something else?
No,
Like what
it
the person was
translated.
chanting?
Yeah, translated the chant, which was being read from the book. So they're one and the same.
Hmm.
Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, and it definitely does seem to be the convocation needed to summon this figure. Upon something I do want to point out is that upon getting there, what you do see in the center of the room is the same bronze dagger and chalice that you were seeing earlier as two artifacts needed for this. The chalice is kind of big, almost like person-sized. It's like a long, deep, oval vase. Uh,
And then once Sierra started flashing the light, that's when like the remains started coming up.
that's when the same thing happened last time, where like these like void shadows that you can't really see were stuck on the walls, and then they were kind of like
It pushed
the
them back.
light was causing them to re-liquefy, and then they re-dried at the bottom. So it was like this hidden pain in the room that would have hurt you if it would not have been for this like purification ritual.
So you're welcome.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks. We need light. Oh, I guess Sierra's getting eaten by the house right now, though. Kinda. By the goop. Murphy's gonna go try and help Sierra.
Okay.
Cool.
Louisa has a tiny pen light. You could turn that on.
Yeah, the tiny survival horror protagonist light barely see anything. Of course. Of course. Okay. I mean, the light's fine. You know, you're able to illuminate without much of an issue. It's still safe, and it doesn't require a roll. But you're still kind of like the eating is starting. You know, like this collapsing ritual. You're starting to see like grass, rocks, and dirt start to fall from the upstairs as essentially the second and first floor start to be consumed by this. The basement seems like it seems to stop there, and that so now it just seems to be like if you would walk outside, it would just be like a hole in the ground staircase leading to like this one structure that still exists.
It's still night.
Still nighttime. It's about 3 o'clock at this point.
So am I able to free myself from the thing, or you know,
Yes,
if
sorry.
I
So you did
shoot?
so you did succeed. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you were able to get
Okay.
out. So you're able to kind of suggest, what do you think should happen next?
Okay. Yeah. So I feel like she's like holding like a femur or something, like, you know, a security blanket right now. And just like yeah.
Good.
Okay. So I mean, the ritual involved a human sacrifice, so I don't really know if we want to do that. You know, you guys are all pretty okay. So let's not die for that. Um. Uh,
Why would
oh
we
gosh.
complete the ritual?
I don't know.
We don't
That's
want
just
that thing to come here.
I.
We
But I
don't.
think it's already here, right? Like, you saw it in the reflections and everything. Like, I wasn't the only one, right?
The vision did not clarify whether the incantation was used to summon or to put away, to get rid of. So it is unclear as to how this actually interacts with the man.
Can we study the book further to see if there's a banishment ritual?
So do you have like religion or a cult or something? I mean, a cult's pretty good, but
Yeah. I definitely have a cult. would religion be? Is religion on here?
Or something similar. Maybe occult is the only
I mean,
analog.
yeah.
In which case, that's
I mean,
fine
the only
too.
thing I can think of is occult or anthropology, because like anthropology is
Anthropology.
cultures and stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Let's. I think
Yeah.
both would be fine. I think both would. I think
Okay.
I think both would be really good.
Can Louisa help?
Which,
Yeah, please.
Okay.
so yeah. So you one should roll one, and the other one should maybe roll the other, and see how it goes.
What are you gonna roll, Louisa?
What are our two again? Anthropology and what else?
Occult and anthropology.
Occult.
Yeah.
Okay, I am a 50 anthropology and 40 occult.
Okay. So roll the anthropology, then I'll roll occult.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see how it goes. With their powers combined.
Hey, sweet.
Sure.
I am a witch.
Destroyed. Destroyed.
Wow.
It's because I have all these
Oh,
good
wow.
bones.
Okay, both of
Why?
you. Both of you have crit successes. This is an
Yeah.
amazing turn of events, right? So let's be optimistic for once here. Essentially, because the both of you did so well, you are able to kind of open this diary, and it kind of talks about how this woman lost her husband in about 1910 at a work site, and she quickly fell to illness. Essentially, she couldn't move, she couldn't really think or get out of bed. She was bedridden. Inviting this woman, this witch, into her life came at a cost. She established that house as a place for entering for El Uomo Nero. In exchange, she gave herself to this entity. And so she split her spiritual and her physical self. Her physical self was allowed to continue walking the earth, which is why they lived so long. But their spiritual side stayed within the home and became this dark reflection in which you hear these different songs coming from throughout the house, or the house that was, or will be rebuilt, because there's such a tie to the house that everybody really needs it to, anybody who really cares or is obsessed with the house will rebuild it even if it's destroyed. What's important is the foundation that's been turned into for this witchcraft, for the summoning of this entity. She regrets it, and her physical self died in 55, and she lingers on in hatred, this crooked, smiling figure, looking to get revenge with her own murder spree, having nothing to do with the entity. But at the end of the day, it really was to summon the entity or not. And even though she used the book, and you can see her memories through it, the Louisa is able to kind of pinpoint what it's really used for and what it really means. It's a sort of ritual of duality. A human must be sacrificed. However, you have a choice when you summon El Uomo Nero to either request to, like, that calls him there, that gets him there for sure, and it's the only thing that is guaranteed to get him there. At which point you're able to use it to either banish him or use it to call upon his powers as well for yourself. Somebody has to die, or you have to kill somebody. Like, you have to take a civilian real quick, pop one, and then pop him in the circle, is straight up, or one of you would have to sacrifice yourselves in order to fulfill this requirement uh, of a human death. Hence the remains in the walls in this particular room.
Do you let everyone know this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I just imagine, like, Sierra just sort of, like, very slowly closes like the book after reading the stuff off.
Louisa's just looking at the chalice.
I feel like the room has like grown quiet, and then you just hear the sound, and it just seems to echo of a shotgun cocking.
Oh man.
Doc?
Back to the shotgun. Back to the shotgun. It was always about
What are
the
you
shotgun.
doing, Doc?
I mean, you just read the book. We have to sacrifice someone in order to get rid of the entity. She like slowly raises the gun.
In any particular direction? In any particular person?
Probably towards Sabrina because they're closest.
Because they're closest.
Sabrina,
Sabrina, what do you say to this?
To see this appears for a moment to have the expression of a woman whose heart has stopped. Just, I mean, absolutely. This has devolved so quickly. Still not fully comprehending what happened, what this means, and the cognitive dissonance. She knows she doesn't have enough time to even try to figure it out. You start to get that panicky feeling that you are just truly out of time. No.
You're just as logical as I am.
You can't, though.
I can't.
If you're gonna do anyone, I'll do it. Let's make it quick.
Sacrifice. I guess.
And she looks at Sabrina directly and says, "Make it fucking count, okay? Whatever you have to do. Whatever you have to do." As she like nervously looks at Murphy.
Murphy, is this the path? Do you change your aim, or do you stay true?
She's looking at Sierra as Sierra says this, offering herself. But there's no sort of quiver in her hand. The gun is held steady and pointed towards Sabrina, and not even looking at her fellow agent as this happens, and just still looking Sierra dead in the eye. There's that moment of silence as the trigger is pulled, and then just that explosion of sound as that shot takes Sabrina full in the chest.
No, what did you do? Sierra like immediately is like on Sabrina, trying to like stop the bleeding, something, just like, what are you doing? Come on, stay with me.
Yeah, you get heavy blinking half syllables very quickly.
Just stop.
But as soon as you realize the sanctity of having a vacuum in your lungs, that way when your diaphragm moves, you inhale. It's fully spoiled once there's a shotgun impact. I don't know if you knew this before, if you're just now realizing it now. The way air is moving, there's a hole somewhere. Sabrina can't even breathe, and has already bled out, basically to death. You're getting nothing but an expression of shock, um, and just really the help me eyes, and then nothing.
Louisa!
Quick now, I think the blood needs to go in the chalice.
Yeah, so I was gonna say like some definitely got in, but someone's gonna have to actually do the dirty work of like putting a relatively recent mangled corpse in the.
Louisa will start, like, she'll just go over to Sabrina and, like, apologize for not having a chance to save her. Like, she's talking to her, she's like dragging her over, just like talking to her, telling her how nice the
Oh
house
my
is.
god.
Are you
Probably
guys
telling her-
going to help me move her?
So Louisa's helping. That's what she's.
Why
That's
did
what
you
she's
do
talking
this?
to her as she's doing
I
it.
said I would do it. I said I would do it. Why are you? Why? Why did you do this?
As
Then it wouldn't be a sacrifice.
Well, actually, it would be a self-sacrifice. That counts
I don't
too.
think
So-
any of the people were willing.
No,
yeah,
it does.
upon
What's wrong
discussing.
with you?
No, exactly. Upon discussing like the complexities, the semantics of what sacrifice is or is not, right? For the purposes of the ritual, one thing is clear. Um, Sabrina's split open corpse, right, is still there, right? Roughly packed and blood pooling into this feature. Um, it's getting to the point where it's filled, it's ready. The incantation or the convocation needs to be said whilst this is here. Someone needs to try and roll an Italian or a foreign languages check to see if to summon
I have-
this El Monero.
I want to see if I have that.
Well,
Sierra does.
Dr. Murphy knows that Sierra has it, and so the gun turns towards Sierra.
What are you gonna do with that? You gonna shoot me too? Then how the fuck are you gonna complete this thing?
Which one is
Are you
foreign
going to let
languages?
Sabrina's death be in vain?
She will
Yeah,
take the book.
take the book. Okay.
Oh. Well.
um this is super important, so let's think about how this affects it.
Mhm.
You say the convocation wrong. You try, but you can't. The way that you could before, the way that you heard it, the way that you remembered it. Um,
She's under a bit of duress. Yeah.
the entity does not appear.
Can Louisa try?
So I will say that each time that there is a failure on this particular roll, we will be adding modifiers. It is a minus 20% on the next roll. Essentially, it does become harder to read it. It becomes more difficult for you to keep your composure. And there's a bunch of sanity to take, but we'll just do sanity at the end to see what happens after the ritual. because this is all affecting you, but it's happening so quickly. Adrenaline's kind of like full on, and we'll see how this plays out before anybody really takes the weight of what's happening to them. He doesn't appear. It does get harder. So roll the same another. You can, if you don't have like a foreign languages chosen already, you can do like intelligence. Just we'll just minus 20% from the int itself.
Okay, well, let me roll it. I got a 5.
Okay, you got. I mean, you won. Like that's it. Like it's
Yeah.
you're able to successfully recite the convocation of El Uomo Nero, and you see this void faced figure approach with sort of like I would say like 12th century like plate almost, a plate like chest guard, and in the reflection of the chest guard of this like cuirass. Is this wicked, crooked smile of this entity that lives within the house's underling, whose soul he's stolen, as another portal into it, and so they're kind of defending it together. Why do you come to me? Why do you call upon me with this measly offering?
Just gonna look at Dr. Murphy when it says measly offering. Dr. Murphy took the offering.
Do you need more?
Perhaps. You seem willing. Bend. And he straight up supernatural occurrence. It's easy for him. This is essentially the part where you have to wrangle. As a group, you have to wrestle him down, or he's gonna make you kill more of these people, right? You have a choice to resist or not. At the end of the day, your mission is still to release him, to end the Foundation. If it takes the death of all of them, I mean, right? The mission's still
Right.
successful. But it might be,
Let's see.
yeah.
What are we rolling then?
So let's do like a charisma roll as a sort of resist. Or you know what? Maybe we can even do if it's not as good, you can do like a luck roll, which is just basically a coin toss. It's 50%.
And if we feel
Whichever
the
is
creature
preference.
is going to kill someone for a better offering?
Is just going to demand more death in exchange for basically like it's almost like reverse vampirism. He has to accept the fact that you're kicking him out in order for him to go away.
Okay.
If he respects you, you're good. If not, more death.
Okay. So just straight charisma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Each of us, or just her?
Yeah, good question. I
Oh,
will say
I thought it was each of us.
just
I'm sorry.
yeah. No, I will say just Dr. Murphy in this case because she's the one with the
Okay.
shotgun. So even if the two others are like, yeah, no, like the one with the gun is still the the scary one here.
Yeah.
Shotgun bureaucracy.
The
You said-
bureaucracy.
Charisma?
Yeah, charisma or luck, whichever one is you prefer.
Let's go with luck.
Yep, great.
Success.
Yeah, that's definitely a success. No, like this is a super important role. You did in fact pass it, right? There's,
Wow.
you seem resistant. the trials and death of your friend, a close friend it seems, has made you has made me unable to take control of your mind. I've eaten 18 souls at this location, and many more across the world at my other sites. You'll never find them, of course, but I'm willing to leave this one, if you will it. You've already filled my cup once, and we drink together, whether you know it or not.
Get out of here.
For me, one last time, uh, everyone should roll a sanity check or a luck to see if they're able to funnel the figure back in. I'm going to require 2 out of 3 successes for this one.
Yeah.
Nice. Not
No.
nice. Not all. And a
Hey,
success.
there we go.
And a success. Okay. Dr. Murphy falls with the shotgun, kind of wobbling, maybe even pointing at somebody else any minute. When Louisa and Sierra are able to say their hateful
Yeah.
last words to this creature, this entity, before driving him back permanently.
Yeah, so I imagine, Sierra's just fucking done. Just screams like, "Get the fuck out of here!" and throws the bone at it.
It goes through like the face, and then like
Mhm.
it doesn't follow like regular physics. Like it keeps going, and you can see it like gain distance through the face. Like it's a whole world in there, and
Yeah.
like there's no
She's
like
just gonna
gravity or
keep
friction
throwing
either.
more
It just
things
keeps
at it.
going. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It just starts to consume, and you see it almost like growing, like a little bit, like for each like object you throw into it, or formerly organic object that you throw into it.
Mhm.
Louisa will
Um,
just be like, you really shouldn't be doing this. This is for Edna. Remember her?
yeah, you give that salute, and you're able to really honor her memory with that. Um, the entity collapses while keeping eye contact the whole time onto the sacrificial circle as the jagged cobblestone finally starts to crumble. You finally stand on a floor of silt as the plaster and the wood start to rot almost immediately. It seemed to, if it was there, it was there unnaturally so.
We should get out of here.
Yeah. 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 Um. Uh. Sierra would try to grab Sabrina's body. Um. We we can't just leave her here. She and she like shoots a look at Dr. Murphy like she deserved better than fucking this.
She just saved the world. Or at least a ton of innocent lives.
She didn't have a choice in that now, did she? We also don't know if there was another way.
You should grab her badge and go.
You want to bury her somewhere?
I want to return her to
Sabrina?
her family.
Okay, do we have something in the car? We can get to her home? Because we really
still
should
have the
get out of this
coffin.
town. Us. people who live here.
You know, this town's gonna wake up, just as Louisa said, in just a couple hours. And this place is gonna
Yeah.
be crawling. We don't have enough time.
So let's get to.
We can take
grab
her to the car and then be gone in a few hours.
You're gonna drive her around with a dead body in the back of your car?
I'm not leaving her here.
Louisa will just go try to pick her up. Just because
Yeah, like, and Sierra will help.
she's not gonna-
Mhm.
she's not going to deal with this argument. She's like, whatever. We're going to take her home or
Yeah.
to the cemetery or something.
You grab patchwork, loose cloth, in an effort to, make, help her keep her dignity, as you carry her off a fellow agent. Back to the car essentially, to prep her potentially in the coffin that you had prior, or it's probably the best thing to hold her right now, which means you'd have to take out Anton's prior corpse.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's it's okay. In doing so, I mean, what's more that the agents have gone through at this point, right? Or
yeah,
not?
exactly.
You do so, and you all drive away with various disorders, PTSD, anxiety, depression, that will manifest and worsen over time as you remember your first mission with Sabrina Schiffer, the computer scientist, that really helped get you through this, that gave herself, willingly or unwillingly, for something that they needed. You check back, roughly a year later, and the house is gone. Only the remnants and ruins of a moldy, plastered, broken wall still there. And it seems like finally a new day will shine over Meadowbrook, and no more music plays from the house. We will end our session there for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for a wonderful One Shot Wednesday of Delta Green. My first time playing it. What a wild ride that I wasn't expecting, and that shows just the magic of the system that it just creates. I highly recommend it. Really powerful stuff. My name was Anthony. I was happy to be your handler for tonight. You can find me on Twitter at Praying the Plague right up here, and we'll go ahead and go back from the cast the same way we did last time, with Sierra Eversole first.
Hi, I am Jen, aka Savage Sparrow on the internet. I played Sierra Eversole tonight, your corpse loving homie. If you enjoy me and my content, please find me on the internet at Savage Sparrow. SavageSparrow.com is my super cool website for amazing nerdy apparel and accessories. Also, every Tuesday on this here channel, I run Dune, Agents of the Imperium, at 7 Central Time. It's really awesome, ridiculous game. A lot of stuff happened. Definitely check it out. And then on Sundays, I am on our sister channel, Penny for a Tale, playing some sweet Pathfinder with a R.I.P. Ian over here.
Amazing. What a wild ride. And next, we'll go with Dr. Amanda Murphy.
Hello. I am Scribbling Penny, Scribbles, or Sam. And tonight I played Dr. Amanda Murphy, the doctor that
the homicidal.
wasn't very good at healing people, it seemed like, but she healed the world. And I think that's truly what matters. In the darkness that was in this town, she just got the job done, pretty much. But yeah, you can catch me running various one-shots periodically here on Weaves a Tale, as well as on Sundays over on Penny for a Tale channel with Ian and Jen. I play with you guys too.
But you killed the GM.
to just revenge.
Look, he's all in black and white.
I
like,
kill the players
never
all the time.
forget.
Yeah, the fated. Yeah, the fate. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He killed the love of my life, so fair.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's how it happens.
Yeah, so just any game that I'm with Ian
Mm-hmm.
and on, just expect my character to kill him, I guess. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
It seems to have been
But
a standing
that's me.
trend. And yeah, next we'll take it to our dead friend Sabrina Schiffer.
They sure got me, didn't they? I played Sabrina. First time playing a femme character. It was fun. I'm dead now. I'm glad to know that I did it for a reason. But man, that was sad. I was oof. Yeah, that was good martyrdom. Yeah, with these horror games, I'm either the only survivor or the only one to die. And if you deserve one, you deserve both. I'll take it. You know, um, we have a lot more fun horror shows for One Shot Wednesday, especially in the evenings, especially in October. So if you're interested in something that feels a lot like this, we have the SCP stream on the 13th of October. I imagine it's going to be like this with paperwork and some humor and a lot of people trying to meta how the SCP one shot is going to play out and then not knowing what it's going to be. Because a lot of SCPs are like super popular and like well known, and they all know it's going to be one. But the way Paul described it is, it sounded like maybe it's about hunting it down and trying to figure out the enigma of what it actually is, and then of course by the time you know, it's maybe just a little bit too late and like a cabin in the woods kind of thing. But I'm on Twitter at IanVJames. I'm always here and I'm always on the Penny for Dale channel, and I am also nowhere else. So thank you so much. Actually, shout out to Anthony. Great time, always a great time. Your stories are just dripping with that good structure. Yeah, so good.
Oh, it really means a lot.
That's
Thank you
me.
so much. For such a scary game, it was such an amazing time. And of course, last but not least, Louisa, our resident Virginian.
I played Louisa, who I guess is probably, I have no idea what I'm saying right now, but this was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And everything.
it was. Louisa did a lot.
Yes, and
I
she's
don't know. She
probably
really.
never going back.
Yeah, there's no reason to. The circle's gone, and Louisa really was there for everybody. Um,
But like to
Amazing.
Virginia, she's probably never, unless there's a
Yeah, it's always a plot. Um, so, oh, and Louisa, where were they able to find you? I was at on Twitter.
75 somewhere on the screen.
Yeah,
I
like I
play
said
in
earlier, that feed is
things.
bumping.
I play this online usually every day. Just about. It's just
Come
I
take a
don't
look.
know.
It's no, but that's it. You're always
Yes.
you're always on. You're always playing stuff. That's pretty good. That's a solid. That's basically what all of us do, right? Like just a simpler way to put it.
Yeah, catch me
No, that's
tomorrow
awesome.
night somewhere online.
Exactly. And yeah, I'll be on Chew and just on 2 days on Friday. Playing Chew at 8:30. Another stream here on Penny for Tilly, the Tale by Imagining Games. What an amazing, also mystery, potentially horror time, and we're going for another gory situation over there too. Keep an eye out for Chew as well. Thank you so much for joining us for Delta Green, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Now Thursday, for some people.